Shop now. Get the new arrivals today at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores. Untuckit. Shirts designed to be worn untucked.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Real pretty afternoon for us. It's definitely breezy out there. Northwest winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour, but great feeling temperatures, mid-70s with lots of sunshine. It's a colder night tonight. Temperatures dip into the low 40s tonight, but bounce back up to 72 tomorrow with sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock, check if your money. Dow Jones down 350 points to 46,574.
Boozer's driving the ship, and he rattles home a three. Cameron Boozer coming to life. Cross court, Evans, a clean look from three on the left, and you know how that goes. Isaiah Evans with his third three of the ball game.
Now it's Jarvis sending this one across, and they score! Sebastian Aho!
Young under center. The snap to fake to Hubbard. Rolling right. Now Young rolls back to his left. Eyes up. Young throws. End zone. Diving catch. Leakett. Touchdown, Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Wednesday to you all. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. It is a busy day, so we will not lollygag or dilly-dally. We'll jump straight into the big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Bryce Young not expected to play this weekend for the Carolina Panthers. Or is he? The beat writers were out at the portion of practice available to the media today for the Carolina Panthers. I'll use Joe Person of The Athletic, his tweet, to give you the story. Canales said on Monday, which would be a couple days ago, that they would see where Bryce Young is each day this week in regards to the ankle injury he suffered over the weekend, didn't finish the game. And most of the reporting done and all of the indications we were given were that it's at least a week, probably somewhere in the 2 to 4 week range with the injury based on scans. Well, guess what? During the portion of practice open to the media, Bryce did work with some resistance bands. He did do a little what's been described as light jogging, a little brisk jogging, if you will, a couple of dropbacks, and some easy, light throwing. I wouldn't get your hopes up if you're a huge Bryce Young fan, although I do think this bodes well for beyond this week, right? I think this week is going to be tough for him to play against the Bills, but if you're looking at that Packers game, I think that's where this becomes a bigger deal, right? The multi-week injuries traditionally start further back. Just anecdotally off of my my own observations and history with those types of injuries. So it's good on Bryce that he avoided something super serious, right? If you're worried about something crazy or something super long-term, you're not letting him get out there on the resistance bands today. His presence could help out, but really, I think this week is about getting Andy Dalton ready. I think this week is about getting the players ready to play with Andy Dalton, right? It's kind of all hands on deck. And what I would give Bryce Young is, if he's there, he's almost a translator, right? Like, if Andy Dalton has a question about the way something happens, the way it's been adjusted, the way the first team, on this route, Tedero McMillan, when they're in meeting rooms, he actually does. He rounds that cut a little bit, right? Just those types of things to pass along. But it's got to be Andy. It's got to kind of be, I'm trying to find the right example, and I've been trying all day to find the analogy. It's not a substitute teacher vibe. It's like you have a new teacher for 1 week vibe, where you're not all right, substitute teachers here. It's just, okay, this other person is who we listen to, but we have to take it as seriously as we've been taking it every other week. It's an interesting spot. At 4 o'clock today, we will look into, I think, the two conversations that are necessary when it comes to Bryce Young not playing this weekend, assuming we'll make that assumption he doesn't play this weekend. The one question is, how are they different with Andy Dalton? And obviously built into that is, are they better or worse? What do they do better or worse? How does the play calling change? And the second question is all the what ifs. What if Andy Dalton throws for 300? What if they win? What if, right? You get into all of those. I think it's smart to at least build in a couple parameters so you don't get carried away, right? You don't want to be sitting there thinking, well, we'll just see how it goes. Andy throws for 170. But you win the game, and on Monday you're going, Andy Dalton needs to be the starter. I think it's smart to ahead of time say, if he throws for 250 and they win the game and he doesn't turn the ball over and they get more downfield passing, then we can entertain seeing what another week of Andy Dalton would look like, kind of regardless of what Bryce Young's health is. And if you don't set those ahead of time, you kind of set yourself up to move the goalposts. So we'll do all that at 4 o'clock. Right now, we're jumping to number 2 in the Big 3 at 3.
Number 2.
Mass exodus UNC football. Dun, dun, dun. Intentionally dramatic and sarcastically overemphasizing. WRAL has a report out, and it's been reported, but I'll use WRAL since they're our colleagues. 3 more players have left the North Carolina football team. Offensive lineman William Boone, pass rusher Bryce Yates, and tight end Yasir Smith are no longer with the team. A team spokesman confirmed to WRAL yesterday. Inside Carolina, I believe, first had the news of the departures. This is I'm not saying it's not big news, but I do want to be clear here. It is different news than we've been getting quite often about the off-the-field stuff at UNC. Okay? Boone did start a few games, the first 3 for Carolina before suffering an injury against Richmond. He is not only transferring, but he is, according to his agent on social media, trying to get a medical red shirt for this year. Yates was a transfer from UConn, played in just 1 game for the Tar Heels after dealing with an injury early in the season. And Yasir, I don't believe has appeared in a game for the Tar Heels yet. There are things that have happened this year at UNC that are unlike anything that's happened anywhere else in college football, right? The hard knocks, no hard knocks, the Hulu, no Hulu, the this, the that, the other, those things, the not tweeting about the Patriots, the banning of Patriot scouts. There are a lot of things that have happened with North Carolina that are unlike really anything I've seen in college football. This is not necessarily as unusual as it may seem in modern college football. Once the season is a lost cause, and when I say is a lost cause, I don't mean you can't improve. I don't mean you can't, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and go try to get better. But I do mean once you're not going to win the conference championship, obviously. Once you're a long shot to be bowl eligible. Once the big, cool goals you had at the beginning of the year are obviously off the table, you're going to see players make decisions that the old guard would call selfish. Decision that fans from, the 1960 football where you just played for the alma mater, they're going to call them selfish. If you're a super duper modern fan, if you, a Gen Zer, you might consider them business decisions and just say it's the way of the world. But if you haven't played in 4 games yet, or you have the opportunity to apply for a medical red shirt, choosing to remove yourself from the team and not presenting the coaches the opportunity to play you at any point in the future could ensure you another year of earnings of NIL money somewhere else. There is, I believe, still a team first, team always, team only feeling on college football rosters across the country, but I do think that only extends as far as the goals are still on the table, right? I'll sacrifice when we're going for a conference championship. I'll sacrifice when we're looking for, a 4-game improvement on last year. I'll sacrifice. And then as soon as those things aren't happening, there's some I got to start looking after myself. And that's whether you're in a Carolina locker room that's been described as dysfunctional by sources across sports media, or a very functional. You might even like the coach, but you're thinking, I'll probably make more on the last year if I get it back than I will on this year if I finish out the season. And I like to start life with a little bit of a nest egg. They all aren't going pro, right? Remember those old commercials?
Oh, yeah.
99% of college athletes will go pro in something other than sports. And wouldn't it be awesome if they could all start with a couple $100,000 in NIL money to go put that down payment on a house? Would have been nice. Tell you that much. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Duke basketball had their exhibition last night, their exhibition opener against UCF, where they welcomed back Johnny Dawkins, the head coach of UCF and one of the best players in Duke basketball history. Coach K welcomed him during introductions with Coach K took a knee and bowed down repeatedly to Johnny Dawkins. I think, a bit jokey, but also he is one of the kind of godfathers of this Duke basketball era, right? One of those first recruits that chose Duke and turned them into what they are. So the proper reverence was shown, and then they went out and beat him. But I will say this, for Johnny Dawkins, it was a 1-point game at half. He had 2 separate players go for 20-plus and shot pretty darn efficiently. John Shire was asked what he was able to gather from the first exhibition game for his team. This is what the coach of Duke had to say.
I learned more about our team because this is our first time playing against anybody else, but also we haven't had the consistency with some with our practices. Malik's been out, Dame's out, and so it just gets to a time where you have to get on the floor and learn about your team. And there's a ton we have to work on. There's a lot we have to get better at. But I did like the competitiveness. I did like the fire that we showed. And we may not be deep in terms of numbers, but I think our depth is in our versatility with the different lineups we can play. So I think for me as a coach and our coaching staff, that's going to be something we have to figure out. And it's going to take some time to understand some rotations, how to play our guys in the best way possible, because we can put some different lineups on the floor.
Now, I don't want to take too much away from an exhibition game. You don't know how the coaches handled it. You don't know if they were almost intentionally putting players in awkward situations to see how they react. Maybe you would have called the timeout in a real game, but instead you're going to let them try to live through it in an exhibition. But the one thing I will take away is Cameron Boozer is a ready-made college basketball player. He showed up fully formed. 33-12, specifically in the first half. It was kind of Cam Boozer doing his thing and the rest of the team figuring it out. Statistically, offensive output, everything. Cam Boozer is a dude, which makes sense. I mean, when your dad played at Duke and you're named Cameron, and then your first chance in Cameron indoor, you put up 33-12. Makes sense. Makes sense. And also, shout out to, this is a weird shout out, Ven Allen Lubin of NC State.
Okay.
Because he knows ball, right? And he played at UNC last year. At ACC tip-off, he's from Orlando. My parents are from Orlando, so we had 20 seconds left before the interview was over. I said, "All right, give me the best hooper from Orlando," and he went Riley Kugel, and I was like, I don't know him. He goes, he plays for UCF. So I looked him up. Good player, transferred around a little bit, started at Florida. He had 22 points on 8 of 13 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3 to lead UCF last night in Cameron Indoor, and I'm going like, oh. Ven Allen Lubin, good little good scouting report there. He and Jordan Burks had a very good day for UCF, and I think those rotations that John Shire was talking about, probably about getting around to those guys and knowing who the opposing team's kind of leading scorers are. Either way, it was a win. They pulled away in the second half, and no reason for panic. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big 3 at 3. Coming up next, we ask a question. Andrei Svechnikov, where are you? Stick around.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I travel coast to coast covering hockey. But when I'm back home, I head to my home away from home, Buffalo Brothers, for the best wings on the planet. You can't beat their specials at all 5 of their Triangle locations. Every pro football game day, you can get Miller Lite Draft for $4.50 and Blue Moon Draft for $5.50. Pet-friendly patio too. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man. Now I want wings.
One last exhale.
Fitting, isn't it? The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. Close quarters, tight corners, and a fan experience that brings you so close to the action, all of the mayhem will be right at your fingertips. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Martinsville Speedway, October 23rd through the 26th. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $12,000 off a new 2025 Silverado 1500. Includes trade assistance. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Back for Gostisbehere. Traffic in front. Gostisbehere works it out front. They score! Oh, Seth Jarvis! Seth on the spot takes the feed from Aho. And it's 4-3 Carolina with 2:43 left in the third.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Carolina Hurricanes fans, 5-1. That's where the Canes sit. I do think, and I said this yesterday, following the Canes' first loss of the year to Vegas. It does feel like the season doesn't start till you lose once. And that's not to say like, oh, nothing before it mattered or everything before it went perfect. But the reason why I say it seems like the season doesn't start till you lose once is it's almost like you're not allowed to talk about the real things until you lose, right? Because no matter what you say, I really want the power play to be a little bit better. Somebody's going to yell at you, they're undefeated. So you lose once, and now all of a sudden we're having the real conversations about the power play and things that could get better and potentially shaking up the top power play or whatever it is. And one of the real conversations I think we need to have, no, it's not any of the new guys. No, it's not Ehlers only has 1 point, although it's similar. It's where's Andrei Svechnikov been? And here's why I think it's a little different than the Ehlers conversation or a little different than really any of the others is, and I think it's why it's a hint more scary, just a hint. If you remove the postseason, which you're really not allowed to do, but if you remove the postseason when he went on that scoring run and he did have, at times, he was like leading the postseason in goals or goals per game, whatever it was. What we've seen to start this year does feel like a continuation of what we were seeing last regular season from Andrei Svechnikov. I remember vividly, and I'm sure we could go back and find it on the podcast. I remember vividly bringing up a chart and talking about it that showed his GPS times. How many bursts above 20 miles per hour does he have? What was his top speed? And all of these things, and then it was compared year over year. And it was basically, at the time, this was like, probably 3/4, maybe 4/5 of the way through the season, regular season last year. The way it was being shown on the data was that he wasn't as explosive of an athlete as he was obviously pre-injury or earlier in his career. And that was being seen as maybe a reason why we weren't seeing the production or the next step that we were hoping to from Andrei Svech. But then the postseason happened. Right? And he scored all those goals. And he did make some plays. And we all went, never mind. That was awesome. Well, now this year, I'm watching the game on whatever that was, Monday, and I'm scrolling through social media, and I saw almost the exact same chart kind of being passed around Canes fans again. And it's the same thing. It's the GPS top speeds and how many bursts above this and all of these other numbers, and it doesn't even include this year. It's just showing the numbers from last year, probably the exact same numbers we were looking at, and explaining perhaps why he hasn't looked like himself to start this year. Hasn't looked like the version of him that we choose to remember him as this year. So now everything I just told you puts me into a strange rock and a hard place. Puts me in a quandary. Because part of me is going, all right, let's start worrying. Because this isn't the first time we've had these concerns. This isn't the first time we've done the digging as a collective caniacdom. This isn't the first time we've done the digging to try to explain why Andrei Svechnikov isn't living up to whatever our expectations are for him. But then the other part that makes me not want to go too far down that path is I doubt he got faster for the postseason, and he was really effective. So if he can overcome it then, when logic would tell you you're playing better teams with more in-depth scouting reports, with more energy, more focus, more drive, because it's the postseason, right? More physical hockey. If he can do it then, why shouldn't we expect him to be able to do it now? And maybe we're just overreacting to the first 6 games of the year. And I'm not going to be one of those sports radio hosts that sits here and pretends to have every answer. Shout out to the guy, and I almost don't want to acknowledge that I do see you, but shout out to the guy on Twitter that every time we talk about making a change, he writes to me and just says, like, why don't you, I know how to solve everything, just make you the coach. I'm not that guy at all. I'm not acting like there's an easy answer here. I don't have that answer. But I do know that Andrei Svechnikov, as I know him, right, as I choose to remember him, as I believe his potential shows, he shouldn't have gone these 6 games without a point. And more importantly, and I use this term that I stole from somebody who was replying to me on social media earlier, I don't like that he appears so uninvolved. I don't like that you forget he's on the team for stretches. And I'm not saying you actually forget, right? Yeah, I know that he's a huge part. He probably, poster on the wall somewhere in the stadium. Like, I know he's there, but you shouldn't go a period without thinking, oh, there's something Andrei Svechnikov did. And that is happening a little too much to start this year for my liking, and that is part of the reason why I think it's okay to have this conversation 6 games into the year.
So if you want to get into the skating speed and all that kind of stuff, I kind of crunched a little numbers here for you while you're talking about that. So if you look on a per-game basis last year, just hitting somewhere between 20 to 22 miles per hour, and the amount of games that he played last year, roughly around 1.6 per game.
Okay.
This year, 1 a game.
So it's down even from last year.
So it's down even from last year. If you look at even just 18 to 20 miles per hour, those bursts of speed, last year was averaging around 5.9. This year around 5.3. So there's a little bit of a drop in terms of that burst of speed. Again, all it takes is just got to hit there one moment in a game, and you've reached that speed. So those are all things that, when you think about what he's done in regards to just the lack of skating power, the lack of skating speed, it just really hasn't been there. And then even in the postseason last year, it just overall on a per-game basis, those same things just really weren't that high.
So I'm having deja vu right now. I literally, while you were talking, had deja vu because I had and I'll tell you what the thought was. I had a thought in reaction to those numbers that popped into my head, and I immediately went, I've said this before. I immediately went, that, whatever Dennis said, sparked this thought months ago, and it's right back to the same spot. And the thought was, and it's kind of a good what if. The injuries that he dealt with,
yeah,
I wonder if they would have happened 4 years later, if he would have been better equipped on the other side. Because here's the thing. I think a lot of hockey players, a lot of athletes in general, early on in their career depend on physicality. They depend on speed, power, and they don't, as even the prodigies, right? They don't know the game as well as they're going to know it. and they use their physicality to get by and be effective and be stars as they learn the game. And then later on in their career, when those physical attributes start declining or an injury takes some of that explosion in power, they have all of that experience gained as far as playing the game and everything to lean on. Andrei's injuries started hitting early, right? So now he's on the other side of the injuries, and he didn't have, 7 years in the league to see the field, see the ice, and get everything to where, okay, you're not hitting 22 miles an hour as often as you used to. That's fine. Now you know to use that angle just 10% different and get there, the same time, even though you're a little bit slower. Like, you don't have those instincts. And the reason why I say I have deja vu is I said this exact same thing at the end of last regular season. Almost, I'm sure you go back and find it. I don't talk with a different cadence. I don't have a new vocabulary. It might be word for word. And it was sparked the same way. And those are the things that make me a little worried. When you start having those same conversations over and over again, and they're these same issues, that's a little, I'm not saying trade him right now. I'm not saying bench him. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just saying I think it's a real conversation we should have.
So if you look at in the year 2021, 2022, that season where he scored 30 goals and had 39 assists, 69 points on 78 games.
Was he like 19 years old?
He was 22, not even.
Yeah.
He was 21 years old. So again, this is before a lot of the injuries and stuff started mounting up. If you look at the 18 to 20 mile per hour bursts of speed, you're looking at about 7.4 a game. So actually more like 7.5. Now it's down to 5.3 a game. 20 to 22 miles per hour. It's like real strong bursts. You're looking at 2 a game is what he averaged. Now he's down more of like 1. So, again, I think it's starting to catch up to him because, wait a second, I can't get to that. I don't have that half step on the person that's defending me to get to that puck or to get around somebody. Unfortunately, I think he just has to learn how to change his game.
Now, exactly. And when it happens slowly over time, I think you learn how to change your game almost without knowing it. When it happens in one fell swoop, or there's an injury and you think you're going to get back, and it's just more difficult. And Dennis, you obviously have a more playing background in hockey than I do, so correct me if
got a game tonight. Let's go.
Correct me if this is on the moon, and I'm not saying you have any, no offense, any understanding of what it's like to skate like Andrei Svechnikov, but those bursts are instinctive.
Yeah,
right. You don't have time to think, am I fast enough to go get this puck? It's just the puck is there. In your peripheral, you see a defender, you see a defenseman, and it's either go or no go, and there's no time to think. That's how it is in basketball. That's how it is in soccer. That's how it is in hockey, I would assume. All of these free-flowing sports where you don't stop and huddle up for 40 seconds in between each play. And that just tells you everything you need to know about your body is what you instinctively think you can and can't do. But again, I'm not saying trade him right now. I'm not saying bench him. I'm not saying healthy scratch him. I'm not saying take him off of everything. I'm not saying play him 8 minutes a game. I'm saying stick a pin in that and don't forget about it and revisit it later on and see if there's another way that might be better to use him. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I have a feeling a lot of you are going to skip that last part. So just remember, I didn't say anything drastic. I want that on the record. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here for Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been with the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. You guys have heard me talk about it. I'm actually approaching 3 months now, about 2.5, but approaching that 3-month mark with Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and I've lost 40 pounds. 40 pounds. And actually had a follow-up appointment with them yesterday. That's actually one of the fun things about the Raleigh Weight Loss Center program is that you have appointments over time to follow up, see how your progress is. You can actually visibly see the numbers changing about your body. My body fat percentage has dropped nearly 6 percentage points in that time. 6 percentage points in 2.5 months, thanks to the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And something I've learned about myself during this whole journey is that I know a lot of people out there, including myself, is that when you start on a weight loss or exercise plan or something along those lines, you go at it strong for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then you kind of have that moment where you have the cheat meal or you don't quite get up when you're supposed to go do the workout, and you're like, you kind of beat yourself up over it. Well, Raleigh Weight Loss understands that that's going to take place. You just get right back on the program. Just pick right up where you left off and just keep going. And that's all you got to do. Just keep going with the plan at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And you're going to see results in some way, shape, or form. Simple as that. If you want to maybe see if this plan is the right thing for you, give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Free 15-minute phone call. Get your questions answered. Find out more about the program. See if it's the right thing for you when you take that step in order to weight loss. Give Raleigh Weight Loss Center a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with the Dean's List coming up next.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
There's no time like fair time, y'all. The 2025 NC State Fair runs October 16th to 26th in Raleigh and is jam-packed with fun for the whole family. Come enjoy tasty eats, free entertainment, livestock competitions, giant pumpkins, nightly fireworks, and so much more. This year's NC State Fair is the event you can't miss. Bring your friends, bring your family, and make memories that you'll be talking about till next year. Get your tickets today at ncstatefair.org.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Jordan Burks on the drive on Homenia goes inside, got it blocked. Get that out of there, Isaiah Evans with the rejection. And across midcourt, it's 4-on-3. Isaiah going to work, off the window and in.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Wednesday, so we're gearing up. This is the last day without football, hockey, baseball gets started here over the weekend, and then for quite some time. And then, by the way, I say without football, I just mean the teams we cover. There's obviously Delaware Blue Hens action tonight, and they might work their way onto the Dean's List. So let's jump right into it. Dean's List, where we give the proper credit, a little extra praise to those that are positively making news in the college sports world here in the Mecca, the epicenter of college sports, the Triangle in North Carolina. I'll get us started. The group. I'll call it the group, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names, but one name's on there twice, that have been named by Jay Billis of ESPN to his preseason All-American, All-Defensive, all freshman teams. He put out his list, and I have the announcements for you. Nobody from the Triangle first-team All-American. So take Jay Billis off of the Dean's List. Cam Boozer, Cameron Boozer, who had a big day in their exhibition game yesterday for Duke, freshman. He is second-team Jay Billis preseason All-American. Darian Williams, the preseason ACC Player of the Year, is a third-team Jay Billis preseason All-American. Hear the NC State fans talking about Jay Billis Duke bias. I hear you. I didn't. There's no microphone in your car. I heard it anyway. Malik Brown from Duke, Jay Billis preseason All-Defensive Team. And Cam Boozer, along with Caleb Wilson, a freshman power forward, I guess we call him, 6'10", do-it-all player. They were both on Jay Billis's preseason all-freshman team. He only put a first team for defense and freshmen, so there's no second or third team options there. But there you go. Jay Billis giving credit to those players from the Triangle. And again, no first-team All-Americans. I wonder how often it's happened in just the history of college basketball that there was no super hyped up player on any of Duke, UNC, or State that would be first team All-American on preseason lists. I don't think it happens very often that none of the three. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm just, having selective memory, but it doesn't seem like it happens that often. So they're on the Dean's list. Again, Jay Billis is not giving us any first team All-Americans, but that's a story for another day. More Dean's list. Speaking of NC State, former NC State football players Phillip Rivers, Torrey Holt, they're on the Dean's list. Why? They are 2 of the 52 that have advanced to the, I believe it's called finalists, and then like super finalists or something. They keep narrowing it down. But 2 of the 52 remaining candidates, nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They were at like 125 a couple of maybe weeks, months ago. They limited to 52. Eventually, they'll go down to 12, or 12 or 15. Then, finally, the 5 or less in the modern player class. But both Phillip Rivers and Torrey Holt are in the 52 remaining. They made the cut. I imagine just the best football players of a generation are like running up to a list on the corkboard outside the gymnasium, looking for who got cut. I made it. Yes. You're on JV. Sweet. We're both playing. I don't think that's how it happens, but that's how I imagine it. Dennis, do you have any Dean's Listers?
App State football.
I think I know why, but go ahead.
App State football, and that's because they are the proud school of the product of punter. I don't know how I said it that way. But Sam Martin, the punter for the Carolina Panthers, went to App State. He was named the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. The punter for the Panthers, Sam Martin, he went to App State. So there you go, App State football.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Sam Martin, do you know what the stats that earned him Conference Player of the Week?
Tell me.
6 punts, 46-yard average.
There you go.
4 of them inside the 20.
Hey, there you go. Field position matters.
No, I very much appreciate a good punt. It does, as an offensive player, make you feel like strangely like half proud of just a failed drive. Mm-hmm. You're like, we picked up 2 first downs. Punter put him inside the 10. Woo! It's like, well, actually, the drive stalled at the 40, and he had a great punt. Yeah, but never mind. When you say it like that, right? Defense gets a 3 and out. We're back in business. This is just a continuation of the previous drive. You start talking yourself into it. Punters make things that are bad not as bad. So shout out to, as you said, App State and Sam Martin. NFC Defensive Player of the Week was sitting right there for J.C. Horn and or Derek Brown.
I know.
J.C. Horn had 2 interceptions, highlight reel in the end zone interception. Derek Brown had 7 tackles, 3 for a loss, 2 sacks, 3 passes defensed, and he's an interior defensive lineman. When they said that the Players of the Week had come out, I was refreshing. Saw the Panthers post something. I was like, who was it? It was Sam Martin. Not what I was expecting. Micah Parsons got it in the NFC. He had 5 tackles, 3 sacks, something like that? 4 for a loss? I forget. Micah has it, of course. This has been a very bitter Dean's List. I was giving Jay Billis the business earlier. Now I just made a stupid whining voice for Micah Parsons. Last one on the Dean's List for us. You heard me tease it. Weekday Conference USA, baby. Delaware Blue Hens hosting Middle Tennessee. tonight, Wednesday college football. That's the big leagues right there. Wednesday college football in the tub. Tubby Raymond, shout out. Delaware Wing Tee. It is, again, I've said this a few times. It's weirdly fun being in Conference USA because they schedule the most random times. And I now get to watch my Delaware Blue Hens without having to have 6 screens on the other stuff I have to watch for work because Wednesdays are just open real estate. Shout out to the MAC for vacating that real estate. All right, there you go. That's the Dean's List. Dismissed. Thank you to all that have applied for the Dean's List. It's not actually an application. We just choose them. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back with the latest out of the North Carolina football program. 3 more players. Gonzo. How big of a deal is it? Stick around.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Fall is here, and so are the savings at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. During our Drive into Fall event, get 20% off any new 2025 Ram 1500. That's right, 20% off one of the toughest trucks on the road. Nothing stops Ram. Or take advantage of 0% APR for 72 months. See dealer for details. You choose how you save, so get off your keister and get to Heister. No one in this area has a better selection to choose from. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Welcome home from Baker Home Exteriors. Your home is not just where you live, it's where life happens. We're proud to continue Baker Roofing's century-long legacy of excellence, bringing that same dedication to your home. Whether it's roofing, siding, gutters, or more, we transform houses into the homes you've always dreamed of. Your home deserves nothing less. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and let's build something beautiful together. That's BakerHomeExteriors.com.
My whole goal in life, make other people's lives easier. Hi, this is Adam Gold. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, I can help. Dr. Lori Travers LASIK, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle and the best way to make your life easier. 919-510-6830, TraversLASIK.com. Get rid of the time, the hassle, the potential issues with contact lenses and glasses. Dr. Lori Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830, TraversLASIK.com.
Out of the backfield, this is Randall again. A good runner after the catch. Tiptoes down the sideline. Touchdown! He stayed in bounds for the score.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. North Carolina Tar Heel football. 2-4 on the year, 0-2 in the ACC. Getting ready on Saturday to face number 16 in the country, Virginia. Multiple articles written about the dysfunction within the program. Agreeing to and turning down documentary series of multiple varieties. endless jokes, and if you are around UNC football in any kind of form or fashion, I'm sure you've seen some. You've thought some were funny. You didn't think some other ones were funny. You've curated them all. So of course, when a bit of news comes out about the program, we, as humans do, we paint it with the brush, or we see it through the lens with which so much other information has been processed. So when you see, as anybody that follows the program saw, yesterday the news came out, it kind of trickled out throughout the day, that 3 more players have left the North Carolina football team. William Boone, offensive lineman, who actually started 3 games earlier this year, suffered an injury against Richmond. Pass rusher Bryce Yates, who was one of the more heralded transfers incoming from UConn. And tight end Yasir Smith, who is one of the younger players on the roster, who, a freshman tight end, has not appeared in any games yet for the Tar Heels. When 3 players exit the program, in addition to Caleb Hood, who we learned retired a couple of weeks ago, in addition to wide receivers Paul Billups and Isaiah Johnson, and offensive tackle Trayvon Green, who also left the program earlier this year, you start to get to the point where you're just going, they must be running away from. And you start connecting dots that haven't necessarily been connected, right? Oh, they must be leaving because of the dysfunction. They must be leaving because of reported preferential treatment for other players. They must be leaving because they don't have their coach's cell phone number. Like, all of these things we've learned, it's what, ad hoc ergo proctor hoc? Anybody, any Latin majors out there? This is about the only Latin phrase I can toss out there, so hopefully it makes me sound smart. It means after, therefore, because of. So just because these guys are leaving after we've learned about all this dysfunction, our brains are telling us they must be leaving because of all of that dysfunction, right? After, therefore, because. And that's not always the case, right? Sometimes they're leaving because they would have left regardless in this situation, even if it was gumdrops and rainbows in the locker room. Everybody loved each other. Everybody was getting better. They still might have left, but we don't know that because we only get the timeline of events in the order that we received the information. I would not be surprised if there's more of this kind of news in the future. And I'm going to do my best, unless it becomes like a true avalanche, just a tidal wave of contributors leading the program. I'm going to do my best to react the same way, which is this. Yeah, lost seasons tend to have a lot of players decide they don't want to burn their eligibility, so they kind of have to make this decision. Right? It's and I know these schools hate to be compared, but I do it often anyway. NC State had a year where their starting quarterback and starting running back decided to just stop playing in games in the middle of the year, right?
Yeah.
With Jordan Houston, the running back, although he was, kind of touch and go on his grasp on the starting running back job. But MJ Morris had the starting quarterback job and decided to redshirt after playing 4 games. He's now where? The Coastal or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
After a stop in Maryland. It hasn't gone well for him. At least it appears it hasn't gone well for him since then. But my point is, the reason why I bring it up is because as soon as and I said this earlier, the big and lofty goals appear to be off the table, I do think players start in modern college football, where at times there's big money on the line, right? NIL, another year of eligibility opens you up to another year of potential earnings. I do think once you get to a certain point in the season and you look at your record and you're 2-4 and you're 0-2 in the ACC, you start looking at, okay, what's best for me rather than what's best for the team. And I know, because I do it too. We all would like to think, and some of us even know in the core of our being, that if we were in that situation, we would do the altruistic, selfless, sacrificial thing. right? If I signed up for a season and I were on the roster at the start of the season, barring serious injury or serious disrespect, I am sticking it out till the very end, and I am a foxhole guy, and I will go down with the ship. And I agree. That's what I think I would do that. Right? I could not see in my wildest dreams me leaving a team in the middle of a year. But it's easy to say that when you don't have the money option, you don't have the situation in front of you, where there might be an agent, there might be a friend from home, there might be a high school coach, there might be a buddy telling you, hey, if you can preserve this year of eligibility and you hit the portal, that year could be worth X amount of dollars. And that, whatever X represents, might be seemingly life-changing at that point in time. Because the part I want to emphasize about the three individuals that the most recent batch of Carolina Tar Heels that have left the team, offensive lineman William Boone, pass rusher Bryce Yates, and tight end Yasir Smith, none of them have played in 4 games. And William Boone especially, even though he might not have the ability to save a redshirt year, with the injury, his agent has revealed publicly that they are going to pursue a medical redshirt, which would give him 2 more years of eligibility after this season, which is the exact same amount of eligibility he had coming into this season. So let's just use Boone as an example, okay? This is like using some details from his story, but hypothetical. Do you know where he transferred from? Prairie View A&M. He started the first 3 games of the season at UNC.
Yeah.
Now he is looking to, according to his agent posting on social media, pursue a medical redshirt in hopes of having 2 years of eligibility remaining, and he expects to be 100% ready for spring practice. Now, what do you think is probably more valuable in the transfer portal market? Whatever film he was showing at Prairie View A&M, or the film he has now acquired from starting 3 games at UNC. Even if the offense wasn't playing well, you can go find the clips of him versus TCU, right? You can go find the individual clips that show he can block at the Power 5 level if they're there, and then to have the same amount of eligibility and still be 100% healthy for spring practice. Preserving that year or trying to get that extra year of eligibility could be worth whatever the going rate for an offensive lineman in the Power Conference is, which, depending on where you look, it varies. But I can tell you, if you're a starter in Power 5, you're making probably 6 figures. So that's the question that it becomes, right? Even if it's not true, it doesn't work out that way in the end. That could be how it's being presented to the young man. To the adult. I don't want to make it out to be like these kids are making decisions. No, he's an adult. If it's being presented to you this way, you could stick it out at UNC. Even if you're having a good time, you enjoy it. You enjoy the people. You like the locker room. You could stick it out there. You could rehab and play the last couple of games and use a year of eligibility, and that would be the honorable thing to do. That would be what your Pop Warner coach wanted you to do, right? You make a commitment, you see it through. Or you could leave the team now, pursue that medical redshirt, and potentially cash yourself $150K extra with that extra year of eligibility. Put it like that. Imagine how different your life would be coming out of college if you had an extra $150K. Right? Is it suddenly okay to go, or at least one of those like, no, I'm not doing it. Wait a second, hear him out. Right? I forget what I was, I think it was social media, but it was a clip from some sitcom. And guy had quit his job, and his boss called to get him back, and he went, no, this is on principle. I need to find a job that's more fulfilling. How much did you say that was? Ooh, no. This is on, I need to find a job that means more to, and that's on top of the bonus structure that you just mentioned? No, it's on principle. What was that? How much? See you on Monday. Click. Like everybody has a number where suddenly that principled stance you had is, you know what? Well, I could do it. Yeah, you know what? I can. So my point is this. I I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to make it out to be as if I'm 100% sure, but I would be very, very, very opposite of surprised if these guys leaving had more to do with how the football season had gone, meaning losing games, not having the opportunity to play for a conference championship, and preserving their eligibility moving forward, than it does with, oh goodness, these reports of dysfunction and the coach is this and the coach is that. I just think in modern college football, where the portal and NIL hang over everything much more than anything else in the sport, once your season is a lost cause, guys are going to make these personal, some would say selfish decisions, and there's no way to prevent that. A couple of them, maybe you can prevent it with some by appealing to their virtue and the future of the program, and you're laying the foundation, but there's going to be some that are out there that are like, you know what, no. I want to maximize my college earnings. I want to maximize my college opportunity, and another year of eligibility gives me that chance. I'd be very surprised if you see people bail, other than like Caleb Hood, who just retires without any eligibility remaining. That's a little bit more surprising, and usually has to do with injuries and things. But I'm not saying that about Caleb Hood. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, Football at 4 is asking two very simple questions. How do the Panthers change if Bryce Young doesn't play? And what possible things could change based on how Andy Dalton plays? Stick around.
It's Bo time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you could say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This is John Wall. The Salvation Army does so much for people right here in Wake County. Join me and 999 The Fan and showing them some love and support. Just trying to help people get housing, try to help people get jobs, try to feed the people as much as possible. I mean, a lot of people don't understand how much help is out there for them. If you go out there looking for it and asking for it, it's a pride thing. We try not to ask questions or try to ask for help, but the Salvation Army is there for them to try to give back as much as possible. So if you're out there looking for some food, some housing, anything like that, you can always depend on the Salvation Army. If you want to help, visit wakearmy.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Real pretty afternoon for us. It's definitely breezy out there. Northwest winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour, but great feeling. Temperatures mid-70s with lots of sunshine. It's a colder night tonight. Temperatures dip into the low 40s tonight, but bounce back up to 72 tomorrow with sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 348 points today to 46,576.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. Well, first of all, when we're talking Carolina Panthers, I want to make sure you have the latest updates on who practiced, who didn't, right? Football's a physical sport, and guys get banged up throughout the year. So, Dennis, what's the latest from practice today, which kind of started right before our show got on air?
All right, so Bryce Young did not practice today. He's still dealing with that ankle injury. Also did not practice today, DJ Wanham, the outside linebacker. Just a rest day. Simple rest day for him. J.C. Horn limited today as well, simply because of rest is what they listed as. Damian Lewis, who missed last game, the starting left guard because of a shoulder injury, did practice today, limited capacity though, but still out there on the field, which is a good thing. And Princely Umami-Yellen, the rookie edge rusher, the third rounder, was limited in practice today dealing with ribs, but otherwise everyone else was full go.
There it is. That's the update. Obviously, the most impact, the most spotlight is going to be on what Bryce Young is doing. Oh, he had the light jogging. Oh, he threw some passes, some lightly thrown passes today at practice, as if you throw those with your ankle. I don't anticipate Bryce Young playing this weekend. I think it would be a pretty cool and pretty pleasant surprise if he did, because that would show that the ankle injury, you never root for injuries, right? So it would be obvious that the injury wasn't as bad as many of us feared. But for the sake of the conversation, for the sake of what I believe the Panthers are going through right now, right, preparing for a game, for maybe a few without Bryce, I think there are truly two conversations. One of them is, how will the Panthers be different with Andy Dalton? The other is a real what-if game. What if Andy Dalton does this? What if the offense looks like this? What if they beat the Bills, right? Then you get into the what-if. So we'll have both conversations, starting with how will the Panthers be different with Andy Dalton? And I put this in my notes. I don't usually write out like a script. It's just little bullet points and things. But I put out that question intentionally, word for word. How will the Panthers be different with Andy Dalton? And the reason why I did that is because I didn't want this to be, how will they be worse? Or how will they be better? It's more, how will they be different? And the reason I did that is because I don't want to make this out to be where, how the Ravens are with Lamar Jackson out. And all of a sudden, their passing game is worse, their running game is worse, their chances of winning go way down, their expectations drop, their coaches have the ultimate excuse, right? In a post game, it's like, well, what were we supposed to do? We had Cooper Rush. It's not that. It could be different, right? You know what? We didn't have as many RPOs, couldn't run the run-pass options because Andy Dalton is 37 years old and he's not as fleet of foot as he once was. We had to dial up some more deep balls because he's more comfortable cutting it loose downfield than Bryce Young is, right? That's different. That's not better or worse, right? I don't see a huge difference in quarterback quality of play, aside from I do think anytime you go from a guy that's taken all the one reps, all the first team reps, and go to the guy who hasn't been getting those reps, I think familiarity and trust become a thing. Right? Everybody's doing everything offensively. They're running their routes. They're snapping the ball. They're listening to the cadence based on the preferences of Bryce Young. Right? The entire offensive playbook is like a baseball mitt broken into the contours of Bryce Young's hand. And now Andy Dalton has to go try to, field a grounder with it. Aside from that, I don't see a huge difference in quality of play. I do see some differences in how they will be deployed, and I've touched on some of them. Right? I think the running game will be slightly different, and there will be a slightly bigger challenge. There is a huge difference for the defense in, after Bryce Young hands off the ball, him carrying out a fake, and after Andy Dalton hands off the ball, him carrying out a fake. Right? A linebacker might have to take a few steps to make sure, to confirm Bryce doesn't have the ball. Because if not, Bryce can get upfield and pick up some yards. I don't think he has to take as many steps to confirm with Andy Dalton because if he has the ball, I'll just start later and get there anyway. Right? Because he's an older guy and he never was really known for his running ability. But if that's the negative, the positive would be, and I referenced this one a second ago as well, I think Andy Dalton is more inclined to cut it loose deep. Right? I think he's you can tell that he is like bred in an offense that had A.J. Green, right? You just get comfortable throwing it deep, and then you figure out the rest later. So if Tedero McMillan is running downfield, I think you're more likely to get let's see if he can make a play throw. Probably with a little bit more air under it, probably with a little bit more trust in his receiver, because that's what we've seen from Andy Dalton going back, to TCU, like going back 2 decades. Right? So this is a challenge, but also a chance for the play caller, Dave Canales, to show that he knows his guys and he can call a game tailor-fitted to different play styles. The same play call with these two guys could go in with very different expectations. And then also, Andy Dalton's veteran. Right? I think you handle him differently in the headset. I think you handle him differently in a lot of ways. How much younger is he than Dave Canales? Can't be much. 5 years, something like that? How old is old Davey C? Dave Canales age.
He's 43?
44. Turned 44 in May. So he's 7 years older than Andy Dalton versus, 20 years older than Bryce Young. That's a different beast. That's a different relationship. That stuff I think is interesting socially, but it shouldn't impact the game a ton. Then there's the what-if game. Before we get to the what-if game, I'm told we have some audio from Dave Canales talking about Bryce Young, so here's that audio.
Afterwards, I saw a little bit of it, did more than he did yesterday, so that's good. That's our plan right now, is each day try to push him a little bit more, see if we can get him out there in a different capacity. Wasn't able to practice today, but was working on the side, was able to do some movement stuff, and we'll just take it day to day and make the best decision.
So he's officially day to day still?
Yes.
And not prepared to declare Andy Dalton the starter on Sunday?
Not right now, yes. But Andy did take all the reps today with the group. Hendon Hooker and Mike White are here. We're first day to get to look at Mike in person to see him throw. He did a great job. Hendon handled most of the scout reps there, but the whole group, they're all, just pulling for Bryce, and Bryce as well. He's pushing and he's trying and he's determined to try to, make himself available for Sunday, but we have to take it day to day and we got to make a decision, when it comes down to it.
So that's the latest. All of the updates based on today's practice and availabilities on Bryce Young. The reason why I wanted you to hear that, and the reason why Dennis did a great job getting that pulled off, he really wasn't talking to the media that long ago, is because of the what-if game. And a game might not be it's the what-if exercise. I'm big on setting what is success and how much success needs to be achieved in order to change opinions ahead of time. Because we all have players we like, okay? I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. He's guilty of it. She's guilty of it. We all have players we just like. And you might go into a game saying, let me pick another team. Actually, Dennis, give me any team in the NFL that's not the Panthers. Seahawks. Perfect. Maybe I'm a big fan of Torrey Horton, right? Torrey Horton is a Colorado State rookie wide receiver, kind of playing that third wide receiver role for them behind Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp. Maybe I'm a Colorado State fan. I love Torrey Horton. I go into a game and I say, as a fan, as a coach, as somebody that is invested in Seattle, I say, you know what, Torrey Horton should get more reps. He should pass Cooper Kupp to be the number 2 wide receiver if he has a good game this week. It's just vague enough to be like, if he catches 2 passes for 30 yards, I'm like, that's a pretty good game. Second, if I like him, right? After the game, I'm deciding. Really, I decided already, right? Beforehand, I was like, I like this guy. I'm going to come up with a reason, so I just say good game. Meanwhile, if before I was having a logical conversation, I said, if he has a good game, he should pass Cooper Kupp, somebody might go, all right, what's a good game? I don't want to say 2 catches, right? That sounds ridiculous. So I say, if he has 5 or more catches and at least 10 yards a catch, right? And for every touchdown he scores, 1 less catch is okay. So if it's 4 catches, but he has a touchdown, that's okay. 2 touchdowns, he could have 3 catches, and on and on. Now, going into the game, because I've said that, because I've put it on record, because somebody heard me, I can't move the goalposts. After the game, I can't be going, you got to put Torrey Horton over Cooper Kupp, because he only had 2 catches, right? So looking at this, there's going to be people that don't like Bryce, that almost, as long as Andy Dalton doesn't go out there and look like he's throwing it with his feet, right? As long as he doesn't go out there and look like he's punting deep balls or end over end, they'll be coming in after the game saying, you got to stick with Andy Dalton. You got to. And that's them saying they like the guy. And there'll be those that even if Andy Dalton goes out there and he breaks records and he throws for 450 yards and he has 2 incompletions on 40 attempts and they win by 30, will be coming in going, glad Andy could keep the seat warm. Bryce back against the Packers. And that's not fair either. Because then they'd be 5-3, right? They'd be a big win over the Bills. Then there's things to play for. So the what-if game is, what if Andy Dalton throws for 250, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception in a close loss? And Bryce can't practice till Thursday of next week. Those are the questions you got to answer, because you're deciding how the future is going to look, and you're doing so responsibly. Not because you like one guy more than the other, not because, 10 years ago Andy Dalton threw the touchdown that got your 7-leg parlay to hit and you've always owed him for that $800 you brought home. Not because of that, but because you set accurate, realistic parameters. And by the way, don't think this is lost on the players. Bryce Young knows what's up. If the offense looks great, that's a knock on him.
Yeah, let's not forget the over 300-yard passing day that Andy Dalton had the game after Bryce got benched last year.
Even if they go back to Bryce, no matter what, which, as long as they don't win the next game, I think you go back to Bryce just because of where they are in their careers and what they could mean to the future. But even if they go back to Bryce, it's a black mark on his permanent record. It's a demerit, right? If the offense looks significantly better under Andy Dalton. So I would say this. I just kind of hinted at it. I think it needs to be a win where Andy Dalton plays really well, and I will put my parameters on that in a second. A win, more specifically, in order for Andy to play over a Bryce Young who's healthy. Okay? Just get that one straight. And playing well, I don't think I'm going to be as aggressive as others. If you win the game and Andy Dalton throws for 250 and 2 touchdowns, 1 or less interception on a high completion percentage, I think I'm good with giving him the Packer game. But I'm also probably giving him the old Denzel in Remember the Titans. Like we will start you over Bryce, but I'm benching you at the first sign of struggle, right? If you lose to the Packers and it's ugly the next week, we're going back to Bryce. Chris Canty, and here's part of the reason why. Chris Canty, this is, I believe, on Sportsmanlike, which you can hear every morning here on 99.9 The Fan, says the Panthers are winning despite quarterback play.
I don't think the Panthers can win the NFC South, because I don't believe in the quarterback. But it hasn't seemed to matter in terms of them being able to right the ship.
It's the weirdest thing.
It is the strangest thing.
They don't play well, but they win.
The Carolina Panthers have won 4 of the last 5 games.
Yep.
So at some point you have to acknowledge Dave Canales and that group is doing something right. Now, a big part of it is how well their defense is playing. They're top 10 in total defense. And you saw the takeaways with the secondary. J.C. Horn is one of the best corners in the NFL. Rico Dowdle has done a great job of being able to stabilize the ground game. In the absence of Chuba Hubbard, now that he's back, they've got a hell of a 1-2 punch. Again, if you're saying they're going to win the division, that means you have to trust the quarterback, and I don't trust the quarterback. So despite all of the injuries, I'll still side with Tampa.
Playing well despite the quarterback, to me, opens up the door just a hair for the quarterback to play really well, extend the winning streak, and keep the job. If they had won these games on the back of Bryce Young playing exceptional, if Bryce Young was playing Rico Dowdle level football, the bar would be astronomically high for Andy Dalton to have any chance of keeping the job. But that's not the case. The what-if game. Make sure you set your parameters now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and specifically the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Everybody, this is actually a good one, right? Set your own parameters. We're just talking about everybody kind of being different, your opinion. Just make sure you put it out there first. It's kind of similar to a watch, right? Everybody has something they're interested in that's a little bit different. I have friends that are, similarly interested in timepieces to me. We talk about them when we get together. They might have completely different tastes than me. The watches that they've spent their hard-earned money on, I wouldn't wear, and vice versa, right? One of my friends is really into skeleton dials, right? The dials on a watch that you can see all the inner workings, you see the gears, you see all the movements, the mechanisms. For me, it's a little busy. Right? If I look down, I want to be able to easily see the time, and for them, they want to see all the engineering. That's fine. We're both good, right? We both can get the watches that we love. And the best part about it is you can get every different kind of watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically at their Village District location in Raleigh. You want a chronograph with the mini dials, the mini hands and everything on the dial? That's great. Go get something like an Omega Speedmaster or a pre-owned or vintage Rolex Daytona or one of the many other watches. If you want a dive watch, right, a scuba watch, plenty of options. You want a military-inspired watch, plenty of options. You want something with a pop of color, plenty of options. Glashütte Original, Hamilton, Norcane, Nomos. There's so many. Blancpain, the Omegas I mentioned. Whatever it is that you're looking for, it's almost a guaranteed way to get what you're looking for. Say it before you walk in. I want a dive watch. I want this kind of bezel. I want this kind of dial. And then you walk in and you find it. It's like, everybody wins. Everybody gets a trophy. No, we don't like that in this generation. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Everybody gets a watch. Yeah, we like that in this generation. Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at the Village District location. We have the Ladder Challenge coming up next, Blind Ranking, and Hit Its and Quit Its coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Man, it started off rough for Dan Campbell. He was able to right the ship. One day, started out 0-10-1. Everybody was going back to the introductory press conference, talking about how awkward it was, being a kneecap biter and all of that stuff. Now everybody loves that stuff. Just give it time to fully bake when it comes to Aaron Glenn. He can't go winless, but I think Aaron Glenn finds a way to keep his job going into 2026.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. Fall in North Carolina, as we know, means crisp nights, football Saturdays, and big savings with the Red Tag Sales event going on now at Clayton and Oakwood Homes. It's the best time of the year to buy your dream home. And right now, prices are slashed. You can save thousands on select in-stock homes. These are move-in ready homes with huge markdowns, but only while supplies last. Like a strong defense on the field, Clayton-built homes are made to keep you covered. Designed with energy efficiency in mind, you will stay cozy this fall, comfortable year-round, and save money on bills. Check out Clayton and Oakwood Homes to see fully furnished models, explore your options, and lock in savings. And don't wait. These homes are priced to move, and when they're gone, they're gone. The Red Tag Sale going on now at Clayton and Oakwood Homes locations and online at theredtagsale.com. Terms and conditions for the Red Tag Sales event at theredtagsale.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through 12/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available within certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
And Skinner will come up with it. Skinner will break in on Bussey. Skinner shoots. Bussey with the toe save. Penalty coming up to Carolina. But Brandon Bussey with an outstanding save to keep this scoreless.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is Wednesday. It is I mean, it could have gone for any day. But it is about 420. And hey, see what I did there? For those of you out there that celebrate, do what you do. About 420 every day. 420? Yeah, never mind. Hey, for some people, it's not a bummer. Either way. Every day about 420, we get into something we call the ladder challenge. And let's do it.
Oh, my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half.
Ladder challenge. It's a mano-a-mano, one-on-one gambling challenge between myself and Dennis. Every day we make what we call a likely to win bet. It is minus 500 to minus 1,000 odds. Those are the rules. And if you win, you roll over your stake, you roll over your payout. You bet it again the next day with the idea, kind of same logic as compound interest. If you do that day over day over day over day, you should have a nice little chunk of change. And at the end of the month, whoever has the most money wins. We start with $10. If you get it wrong, you go back to $10. Last night, I believe I'm in the lead, or at least I was in the lead going into yesterday.
Yes.
We made almost the same bet.
We did make the same bet.
We made them at different times in the day. So I had Steph Curry 3 or more threes versus the Lakers at minus 545. Dennis had the exact same bet.
At a minus 521.
So he had a little bit better payout. He got 3 exactly.
Yeah, I know.
3 out of 9. The third was a beauty, though. It was from distance. I kind of wanted him to pull out the night-night celebration because it was that kind of a dagger to win the game. But he didn't have to. It was enough. It was also a dagger to win us the bet. So we both win. I am up to $18.56. Dennis, what are you up to?
I am up to $14.16.
So I am still in the lead, and I will continue with a very similar bet. My bet for tonight is very similar, and guess where I'm looking? The Charlotte Hornets.
Okay, I'm also going Charlotte Hornets here, so I'm curious
The Charlotte Hornets.
what you're going to go with this.
LaMelo Ball, 2 or more threes.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it's different. LaMelo Ball, 2 or more threes. He finished last season, right? He beat the month of March, which was his final month, hitting at least 2 threes in every game. I also think LaMelo Ball does have a bit of a sense for the spotlight and knows opening night, little extra sizzle. I'm thinking he's not going to be afraid to launch. And also, the concern with LaMelo is always health, right? Is he healthy? Can he stay healthy? Will he finish the season? You'd think the opening night is his probably healthiest game of the year. So
one would assume.
So he'll be ready to launch from 3. Give me LaMelo Ball, 2 or more threes. It's minus 740, which is in our parameters there, in our boundaries. I'll turn my $18.56 into $21.06, $21.06, as long as LaMelo Ball hits at least 2 threes.
I have Brandon Miller with 2 or more three-pointers at minus 670, so my 14-16 will turn into 16-27.
The Hornets, and we'll talk about them a little bit later on, they're in an interesting situation where I think like half of NBA fans have them as a dark horse, though, to overexceed, and they're kind of liking what they're putting together, and half just think they're the same old Hornets.
So kind of like the Panthers?
Yeah, I don't know if
kind of like the Panthers going into the season? You're like, they're the Panthers. But hey, sneaky dark horse.
Yeah, I don't know if there were as many sneaky dark horse believers in the Panthers as there are in the Hornets. I'm not saying to be a playoff, maybe to be a play-in team. There's just so many more playoff teams in the NBA, or play-in teams in the NBA. Anyway, my point is this: they're in an interesting spot. If they're going to get to the positive side of that spectrum by the end of the year, where there's more believers than there are same old Hornets. Those 2 guys that we brought up are probably going to have to make more than 2 threes in most games because they're quite essential to the scoring prowess of those squads.
LaMelo just simply has to stay healthy. That's really about what it is.
He has to stay healthy, but also, I mean, he hasn't been the most efficient guy in his career.
No, he hasn't.
Some of the numbers he's put up have been volume based, so he has to do a little bit better there.
I mean, he's been over 60 games once. Now, granted, 2020, 2021. The COVID shortened year and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of give a little pass in that regard. But in 21-22, he had played 75 games. Then he's played 36, 22, and 47.
That's obviously the biggest part.
Yeah.
I want them playing meaningful games at the end. So it's not, I want to take a game off, right? It's not, if you're hurt, we'll give you the extra 2 weeks to get ready. I want them to be rushing him back because you got to make a playoff push if he has a boo-boo or an owie. Either way, that's the ladder challenge locked in. We'll see who amongst us or both of us win. Hopefully it's both of us, and we'll run it back tomorrow. In the meantime, time for a blind ranking.
All right, so the way a blind ranking works, we're actually going to blind rank Carolina Panthers players through this season. Carolina Panthers players through this season. That's how we're going to rank everyone here in the blind ranking. So pretty simple following what we're going to do here. I'm going to give Tim a player on the Carolina Panthers. He has to slot that person in 1 through 5. He does not know the 5 players that I'm going to give him. Tim, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First name I give you, Derek Brown.
One.
And we're basing this off this season.
1. I know he started a little slow coming off the injury, but I can't think of anybody on the team that I would feel absolutely ridiculous having at number 2 with Derek Brown number 1. The way he has transformed the run defense from what it was last year to what it became as soon as he started looking and I assume feeling like himself this year, I mean, it's night and day. And do you know what's actually really exciting about it?
What's that?
He's putting together stats. I think in a lot of ways, interior defensive linemen can completely change a run defense and have like 3 tackles on the day, and that's it, because they're eating up blockers or they're freeing up other players to make plays. He's always been a tackles guy, right? He had 103, whatever it was, 2 years ago. But now he's getting the TFLs, he's getting the sacks, he's getting pass defense. Like, he's getting a few other things that are going to turn some heads. So Derek Brown being number 1, absolutely love it.
All right, next one we're going to go here. Sorry, you have Derek Brown at number 1. Next one we're going to go with Nick Scorton.
Solid. It's funny. He is, because I follow a whole bunch of analytics accounts on Twitter, right? The people that have, minds that work with spreadsheets. They know how to put algorithms into Excel, right? Do it the real way, other than the rest of us that just enter in each number one by one. They went to college and learned statistics. And there's seems to be in every category for rookie edge rushers or rookie defensive players. There's one person way ahead of the pack, then there's a second tier, then there's everybody else. And the one person way ahead of the pack changes, right? In pressures, it's Abdul Carter. In, estimated points added, it's some other guy. But always in that second tier is Nick Scorton. No matter what the stat is, no matter what they're measuring, it's always Nick Scorton in that second tier. So I think he's playing very well. I don't think he's playing best on the team. I think he's going to get better. I'll put Nick Scorton 4.
All right, so you have Derek Brown at number 1. You have Nick Scorton at number 4, which leaves 2, 3, and 5 available. Next one, Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard, some of the stats, again, advanced analytics stats, we were talking about this earlier today, off air, which just shows how nerdy we are. His percentage of runs where he gains more yards than expected is near the bottom of all qualified runners in the NFL. So, yeah, I don't know what the qualified is. He's got 20 carries or something like that. So his percentage of runs where he does not exceed what is expected, so like the amount of yards that he should get is, it's not great, okay? I'm tempted to say 5, but then I just know you're going to hit me with somebody who has been playing really rough.
Am I, though?
Yeah, I've got, you know what? Fine. I'll put 5. I'll put Chuba Hubbard 5, and I'm going to hope you're going to be generous and give me some guys who have stepped up.
Okay, so you have Derek Brown number 1, you have Nick Scorton number 4,
I've
Chuba
boxed
Hubbard
myself
number 5.
in yet again.
You have 2 and 3 available to you. Tommy Tremble.
Tremble, hard to measure. I'll put him 3. He's definitely, I don't know if anyone will even be like. It's kind of offensive line like, and obviously Tremble does some blocking up there and makes it happen. Where it's like I don't know, like are you right? I always say if I were a GM and I would just completely like lost my confidence first round, I'm just picking an offensive lineman because fans they don't know if he's good or not, and they all just kind of go, well, yeah, offensive line is important, and you just kind of take it. Tommy Tremble number 3. Tight ends are important. I mean, he's not. Trey McBride or George Kittle or one of those, but he's been doing okay. So put him at 3. He could be anywhere 3, 4, or 5 on this list.
All right, final one here. All right, so you have Derek Brown number 1.
I'm gonna write down who I think you're gonna give me.
Okay.
So, all right, it is written down. And I think I know who you're going to give me. And this is just like off of vibes and intuition.
So I gave you Derek Brown, you put at number 1. I gave you Nick Scorton, you put at 4. Chuba Hubbard, you put at number 5. Tommy Tremble, you put at number 3, which leaves number 2 available in the blind ranking, which goes to J.C. Horn.
No, but that's great. That's perfect. I wrote down, I thought you were going to mess me over and give me Xavier Legette.
Oh, no.
Which, by the way, he's coming off a good game.
He did have a really good game.
Don't get me wrong.
This is based off the current season.
I think the bottom 3, I'd probably move Tremble down and Scorton up. Other than that, I'm very pleased.
It's a solid list.
I'm very pleased with this.
So you finished with Derek Brown 1, J.C. Horn number 2, Tommy Tremble 3, Nick Scorton 4, and Chuba Hubbard 5.
I think the top 2 is more in the eyes of the beholder. Like if you think J.C. Horn is better than Derek Brown this year, I'm fine with that. And if you want to flip it, it's fine. I think J.C. Horn had a little speed wobble a couple weeks ago, but he's really gosh darn good. And if you want to just put Scorton 3, I think that would probably be the most accurate. But other than that, I'm pleased with it. This is one of my better. Normally, I'm very mad at myself at this point in the show.
It's a solid list.
So I will take my victory lap when it's presented. There you go. Blind ranking. Dunzo. I'm riding high the rest of the show. Finish strong on a Wednesday. And one way we're going to finish strong is by going to what we call, here on 99.9 The Fan, hit it and quit it.
I want you to hit it.
I'll get it started here on Hit It and Quit It. The first bit of news that I would like to hit, the NFL, let me make sure I say this correctly. NFL owners, according to Diana Rossini, have approved the Panthers' $800 million renovation plans for Bank of America Stadium today. Joe Person of The Athletic clarifies.
$800 million.
What did I say?
It's $800 million.
$800 million.
Yes, that's a lot of renovations. 800 million line items.
Yeah.
This bathroom is one.
What's the Clippers owner? We're at more toilets than any other arena. I don't want anybody missing action because they're waiting for a toilet.
I don't hate it.
Joe Person clarified, owners approved the 20-year lease extension and non-relocation tether tied to the Bank of America renovation. The bulk of the project will be financed with public money, specifically $650 million. So the public helping to foot the bill for billionaire David Tepper, $650 million worth. But to me, the best news out of it is you get a renovated area, you get, I would assume, better facilities, more exciting entertainment options, and that non-relocation tether. I don't think there's any real reason to worry about it. It does seem like David Tepper is putting down roots with the other teams he owns and the real estate decisions he's making, but obviously a non-relocation tether means the Panthers aren't going anywhere. So, feel free to buy that jersey. You won't end up like the Whalers or the Nordiques. That's a timely joke for what's coming up tomorrow. Either way, that's what happened. David Tepper, business is booming.
So, by the way, for anyone that's scared that Tepper's going to try and move the team, if you're locked into this 20-year lease, the Panthers aren't moving anywhere anytime soon.
Yes.
There you go. So I know a lot of people are like, he's got to move the team. Like, where?
There's teams that want. NFL,
plenty of
if an
cities
NFL team hit the open market, there would be mayors raising funds all across the country.
Easily.
But I think Charlotte, obviously, and the state of North Carolina came up with $650 million in public funds to help him renovate Bank of America, that's probably a good enough reason to stick around. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Speaking of the NFL, a little NFL note here for the fine folks out there. Set your fantasy teams. Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders quarterback, hamstring injury, already ruled out for Monday Night Football. Already ruled out for this Monday Night Football game. Marcus Mariota getting the start once again. Third start of the season for Marcus Mariota. Tim, are you concerned about the health of Jaden Daniels long term? He's not a tiny guy, but he has a slight frame compared to a lot of quarterbacks. And for a guy that likes to use his legs quite a bit, a lot of lower body injuries taking place this year.
First of all, you brought up fantasy. Shout out to Washington for doing a solid.
Right?
When you have the Monday night game, you leave somebody questionable. I got to make my decision to play him or not on Sunday, and then you don't get till the... So ruling him out early does make it easier for all of us. Appreciate it. I'm not long-term worried about his health. I think this season might already be a lost season for Washington, which is a bummer coming off of where they were last year. And it's not just him. It's injuries to Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, who held out and really hasn't... Has he played at all this year?
He has. He's missed the last 3 games, I think, or 4.
Him being out, other injuries on their defense. I think it if they don't win this week or put something together, they could be staring at a real disappointing encore to what was a really exciting kind of taking over the league. Whoa, where'd they come from moment last year?
Especially when you look at it from the standpoint that they spent draft capital to trade for guys like Marcus Lattimore. They went and got Deebo Samuel. They're actually one of the oldest, I think the oldest roster in the NFL this year. You have a bunch of guys on 1-year contracts. You missed the playoffs this year. Good luck trying to reset yourself next year.
Yeah, I do think they had a year of Midas touch. Everything worked. So they just were let's keep making moves. Let's keep doing stuff. And some of them did work. They drafted Bill Krosky-Merritt in the 7th. Looks like he's a wild value in the 7th round. But think about what of a heat check that was. He didn't play college football last year because he was ineligible. He played 1 game. But it's one of those years where a lot of things have gone against him. So, but no, I'm not worried about him long term. He's athletic enough to where I think he can, get down and avoid hits when he runs. Soft tissue injuries, they're just annoying as heck. Stretch more, touch your toes, V-sits, all those sort of things. Mountain climbers, pineapple pickers. What do they call them around here? When you you're stretching your hamstrings, you spread your legs, then you touch the ground 1, 2, 3, 4 back. What'd you call those?
I don't know.
No? All right. I forget what they were called in New Jersey when I was growing up. When we went to Hawaii, they were called pineapple pickers. Grass pickers, maybe? Grass pickers? All right. That's just a regional dialect thing. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
What?
How about this come up? Tennessee baseball coach, meaning Volunteers, Tony Vitello, finalizing a deal to become the next manager of the San Francisco Giants. That in and of itself, it's whoa, Giants, crazy. But how about this? First time a big league team, Major League Baseball, has plucked a manager, according to ESPN, directly from a college program without any experience as a professional coach. Is it me, or has sports in general become way more comfortable going outside the box when it comes to coaching hires and GM hires and all these other things? They're college baseball and pro baseball, and especially Major League Baseball, very different beasts. And they're just grabbing the Tennessee guy and saying, here's the keys to the San Francisco Giants. Buster Posey, I believe, in their decision-making inner circle. So it's a risk, but it's an interesting one. And I wonder, with all these openings in college football, if people don't think maybe a little outside the box. I don't know. Right? It worked so well getting maybe the best NFL coach of all time to come down to college here in the Triangle that people don't start mixing it up in every direction.
And it is weird because you don't ever really hear of a college coach going to be a manager in the bigs. Yeah. It's just you don't ever see it.
I think it's
or even just, hey, I'm going to go be the third base coach for the Pirates.
I do think it is a bigger difference in just it's a different game. I think you could go be a minor league coach, fairly similar skill sets. Major leagues is a little bit different. But we'll see. Tony Vitello. We'll see if it works out. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
it means more.
You know what means more?
What does?
Uniforms.
Ah.
I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but for those who missed it, the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow, when they're at the Colorado Avalanche, are going to wear their Whalers uniforms because the Avalanche are going to wear old Quebec Nordique uniforms. The Quebec Nordique used to be obviously in Quebec City, moved to Colorado back in the mid-'90s, and immediately won a championship. So it's a flashback. For anyone that's over the age of 35, you'll probably recognize these uniforms and all that. Anyway, some people don't like it. Maybe including our boss, who's spoken publicly about it. So he's on the record, Paul Eihander, who hosts Next Up from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on 99.9 The Fan. He's not a big fan of the throwback uniforms and stuff. I totally get it. But it is going to look cool on the ice.
All right, I'll put you on the spot here.
All right.
Earlier this year, the NFL had a similar throwback jersey game where they had Tampa Bay in the creamsicles, the orange with the pirate head, up against the old school Seahawks, which was like the like Trent Dilfer era Seahawks, right? The silver, the Sean Alexander with the bird head line down the side. What's the better throwback uni matchup? Creamsicles against old school Seahawks or Nordiques hosting the Whalers?
Nordiques Whalers.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not even close.
What?
It's not.
The Creamsicles might be the best individual. I think the Seahawks are the weak link there.
Seahawks, very weak link.
Both the Nordiques and the Whalers are pretty solid.
They really are.
The logos alone.
It's interesting, though, that this is the first time. I think maybe they've done it once in the past, but Colorado's really leaning into it, though.
And there's other reasons that's going to be a cool matchup. But no, I'm for it. As long as you don't do it too often, you don't want to wear it out.
No.
I think it's a cool thing for both teams to do.
Also, shout out to the Canes equipment staff for having to haul all the extra gear. Hey, it's an extra set of pants and helmets and gloves and uniforms and socks, the whole deal.
At practice today, they were breaking in all their stuff a little bit further.
You actually did see some of them wearing it during preseason training camp, wearing some of the stuff.
Not me, but there were some eagle-eyed fans who, when they saw it during preseason, said, oh, they're definitely wearing the Whalers jersey sometimes before the Whalers announced night because it's way too early to be breaking in this stuff. And I just kind of took it as like, whoa, conspiracy theory, all right.
Yeah.
But no, it actually ended up being true.
But then when Colorado comes to Carolina, Carolina's going to wear the Whaler uniforms and Colorado's going to wear the Nordique uniforms.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan. I think it's cool as long as you don't do it too often. You know what I'm actually a fan of?
What's that?
Buying into it as fans. Everybody should wear like 1980s get-ups and go. Like make the whole thing, right? Like if you want to throw on some bell bottoms and go to the game, throw on some bell bottoms and go to the game. Like make it like you're watching a Nordiques Whalers game. Right? If you want to tease the hair out, go with the fro. You want to walk into a little Saturday Night Fever, you do what you got to do.
Just make it full on 80s night.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you know what? Prices. Hot dog for a nickel. Like let's.
Whoa, hey now.
I mean,
a lot of hot dogs.
It's not my money.
That's fair.
I'm just saying, like lean into it if you're going to lean into it. Make it a whole event. I'm just making other people's jobs more difficult. I would have to do no work to make all of that happen.
I want a Whalers starter jacket.
A Whalers starter jacket. I mean, the Nordiques logo is cool too.
It is.
Like they're both good. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we're partial to Whalers, but they're good too. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is Hit It and Quit It. And now, before we hear from Mike Glennon for our weekly check-in with the NC State legend and longtime NFL quarterback, Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. Folks, what if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Well, right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan Program, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client recently just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with a conversation with Mike Glennon, as I said, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback, and we do a deep dive into what it's like to be a backup NFL quarterback like Andy Dalton is, who's been given the start due to a starter's injury, like Andy Dalton likely will be. Stick around.
The road to college football's national championship runs through 99.9 The Fan. The ACC, the SEC. The biggest matchups will be found here.
Biggest play of the season for Miami. Beck throwing downfield, intercepted. And Beck throws his 4th pick of the game, and that one was a killer.
College football on The Fan is powered by Wake Med, Roofworks, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford.
It's the Drive into Fall event at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington, and right now you can drive away in a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited for as low as $34,500. That's over $10,000 in savings on the SUV you've always wanted. See dealer for details. Luxury, power, and performance, all for a price that'll blow you away. Plus, the largest inventory and best selection in the area to choose from. So get off your keister and get to Heister today. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation, and whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check them out online, aluminumcompany.com.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, October 25th. Find a collection site near you at deatakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
On 99.9 The Fan, in time for our weekly check-in with Mike Glennon, legendary NC State quarterback, longtime NFL veteran, where he gives us a little bit of insight into state. But if you want a lot of insight into state football, check out Pack Therapy, the podcast he and I co-host, available everywhere podcasts can be found, including the 99.9 The Fan app and 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe while you're there. Really why we bring him onto this show is to get insight into the inner workings of the quarterback world in the NFL. He's been through just about everything, which, Mike, is what we lead to here. One of the reasons I like using you as a resource is there. I mean, every situation in the NFL you've been in, right? You've been starter, you've been backup, you've been called in as an emergency guy. You've done a little bit of everything. This week, the Panthers are dealing with one of those specific situations, which is the veteran quarterback getting called out of the bullpen. Looks like Bryce Young will not play with the ankle injury, which means the biggest game in like 4 or 5 years for the Carolina Panthers. They're above 500. They're hosting the Bills. It's home crowd. Both teams obviously with something to play for. 3-game winning streak, and Andy Dalton's rolling out on the old red rifle is rolling out onto the field for the Panthers. Just like take us through the week for the backup quarterback that's suddenly the starter and the main character.
Yeah, it only happened to me
not too many times where the starter got hurt and I played. I think it happened once in Tampa. Josh McCown was the starter, got hurt in a game. I finished it. Mm-hmm. It was Atlanta on Thursday night, and then it happened to me, Daniel Jones in New York, where he got hurt. He finished the game though, and then I didn't find out until like Monday night, like, hey, there might be a chance that you're starting. And it's kind of, for Andy, I'm sure he probably knew pretty quickly after the game, like, hey, Bryce has got a sprained ankle. Like,
if you watch the video of it as a backup quarterback, if like they showed it on the jumbotron, I would have went, oh, he might come back in this game. But then I guess some scans showed high ankle
right.
and everything.
So whenever
changes.
you find out, it's almost like, oh, well, here we go. And you always say as a backup, like, hey, I'm going to prepare like a starter, which is true, but there's a little bit extra preparation. It's just a different mindset. It's not like if I play, it's when I play. And then you start taking command in those meetings a little bit more just because the way you see it may be a little bit different. And, you may speak up when a play's getting installed. Hey, if they give us this look, I want to see you to the receiver, talking to the receivers, I want to see you do this. And it's just you become a little bit more vocal. And then, going out to practice is different because as a backup quarterback in the NFL, you get 0 reps with the starting offense. Now you get them all. So it's just the whole week becomes more intense and, a higher level of focus than when you're the backup.
Is it truly 0 reps with the offense? Because I remember there was a point in time, and this, obviously could have changed, 20 years ago, where Peyton Manning was not giving any reps to his backup. I think it was probably Jim Sorgi or something. And that was news. That was like, oh, my goodness, how demanding is Peyton? And I think it was Tom Moore, their offensive coordinator, said, well, if Peyton gets hurt, we're bleeped, and we don't practice bleeped, right? So it was just – and that's the 4-letter word you're thinking of. Is it truly like 0? Like it's not 8 reps to 2 or some rotation?
It is almost 100% 0.
Wow.
Like every coach is a little different, and I would say the some coaches may build in like what they call good on good. So it's like offense versus defense, like training camp. There's no scout team. You're not running off of cards, which is like, the defense looks in and sees, okay, this week the Bills play cover 2. We're going to play cover 2 on this. So it's good on good, and maybe you'll get like I remember when I was with the Giants, we'd do a 6-play period of third downs, and it would be like 3rd and long, 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, 3rd and short, and there'd be 3 plays with the 1s, and then there'd be 3 plays with the 2s, and that might be the only plays all week you get. So as a backup quarterback, you're usually staying after practice with some of the practice squad receivers, going through the script and having them like stand in spots to kind of get what that is. Now, do you get like routes on air? Yeah, you get to throw routes on air. You get to do, sometimes like you probably remember this. You get the inside run period where you're handing it off every play, which is no fun. But yes, as far as live reps against the scout team, backup quarterback gets 0, unless maybe you're a first-round pick, like who would be doing this? Like they want to get you a couple just to start getting you ready. But no, Andy Dalton, I can almost guarantee, got 0 reps all year.
We're talking with Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback. Okay, so in that case, if we're predicting the way this game could go, looking at Andy Dalton, is he going to have like almost better chemistry with like wide receiver 4 than wide receiver 1? Because somebody like a Jimmy Horn or a Jalen Coker maybe has spent more time hanging out with him than Teterow McMillan, because in the scenario you just described, this basically means he's thrown 0 balls to Teterow McMillan in the last 2 months.
Probably not at all, because I'm sure training camp it was all Bryce would get him every time. So I don't think that matters that much. Like he's not going to be like look to both. He sees man coverage, he sees Teterow McMillan on a go, and he sees what's his name?
Jimmy Horn.
Jimmy Horn. Like he's not gonna be like I choose Jimmy Horn, but there might be a little familiarity, but he's gonna get up to speed. I mean, Andy Dalton has been around for a long time, so I think what he's stepping into is different than honestly probably what I stepped into and some of these other guys. You see the success Jacoby Brissett's having, and Andy Dalton has twice as much experience as Jacoby Brissett. So sometimes these things can be good things for a team, and I've heard you talk about it before. Sometimes after like a coach gets fired or whatever, you get that like
the rallying, one game bump.
Sometimes it's good to have a little spark, and obviously they've been winning lately, but Andy Dalton might bring a little bit of attention and detail that just naturally starts slipping away when you get in a routine every week with the same guy. So I think Andy Dalton will come out and play well.
You brought up some of the old guys getting starts. On this show, I gave out whenever Joe Flacco played, I gave out bets as like, hey, I'm taking the over in every Jamar Chase because Joe Flacco's not a dummy, and only a dummy wouldn't, if you're not sure about the playbook, lean on Jamar Chase, right? You're going to throw it to the guy that's really good. As a backup coming in, obviously Joe Flacco was in a different situation. He was on a different team like 8 days before the game we were talking about. But it like when you simplify the playbook, is that another thing that they might be able to benefit from and just go, all right, we got to do what we major in, right? Like whatever our best is, we don't have the full playbook at our disposal. Let's make sure Andy's good on these 5 things.
I think they'll probably leave it up to Andy in a sense. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to get, give us your kind of staple plays? I see what you're saying with the Flacco situation. With him, it was like brand new, fresh.
It was 23 targets.
If I had to get, yeah. But I think they'll just pick up kind of where they left off with Bryce. I imagine the offense will look very similar. It'll just feature some more plays that Andy Dalton has more familiarity with, comfortable, confidence in than maybe Bryce does.
So the last question I'll hit you with, and this is more social and psychological. So I don't know what your background is in that. But what if Andy plays well, right? Bryce Young, by the way, he's been the quarterback for this little winning streak. They've won 3 of their last 3. They're on a 3-game win streak and won 4 of their last 5. But he hasn't been lighting it up. There are not a lot of 300-yard games in there. And Buffalo is obviously a big statement opportunity. They're going to be big underdogs and everything else. But if Andy goes 250, which is something we haven't seen from Bryce, and 2 touchdowns, and it's a close game, Andy's old, but it can still confuse some people.
I mean, it's clearly let's cross that bridge when we get there. But if say Andy Dalton comes in and plays like Joe Flacco did the other night, and the Panthers beat the Bills, they beat the Packers, and all of a sudden, you're coming back,
couple of division games,
and you're what would you be at that point? What would your record?
They'd be
6 and 3.
Yeah,
right in the mix of a playoff run. Like, you got to start thinking about it and the reason why is, I don't even know if Kyler Murray is probably a great example, but Joe Burrow, and to stick with Cincinnati, Joe Burrow comes back, he's clearly going to be the guy. Bryce Young, future here,
touch and
go at best.
Yep.
So if you had a chance to go on a playoff run with a hot quarterback, you have to heavily consider,
if you beat Buffalo and Green Bay, like all bets are off. Now you're chasing something this year,
right?
If the reports are Bryce is going to try to come back after this week. 1 week, it's fascinating to me because I know that the fan base and there's probably fan base right now in our YouTube comments. Shout out 99.9 The Fan live stream. There's nobody that's like wait and see on Bryce. Everybody either loves Bryce or hates Bryce. It's very polarizing. And one game from Andy can bring out people in a bunch of different directions.
Yeah, I think it'll also depend. If Andy plays well and they lose, that's when the tougher decision has to be made. You ride the hot hand.
It's probably an unfair question. It's all a sliding scale. How good did he play? How badly did they lose, or how close was it, and everything else?
I don't know. Do we have time for more? What I find interesting about the NFL all the time, kind of along these lines, is like the Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard situation. It's like, I get return on investment. You paid Chuba Hubbard. You want to play him. But to me, it's like I almost think they have to look from it from like a higher elevation. It's like, we're paying the running back room this much. We got Rico on a discount. So why does it matter what we paid Chuba Hubbard? If Rico's playing better than him, let's have him play better. And I think that kind of goes for quarterback positions a little bit different, but it's like if our quarterback position itself is playing together, forget the name, forget the jersey. Let's roll out with the best guy we have. Unless it's, I get it. If it was a first round pick a year ago, you got to kind of stick with him. But that's just my thoughts on the running back situation. I was a little surprised to see. I don't know. It just seems like Rico's playing better.
Yeah, and eye test as well. We'll see if that sticks because, it can only happen. Rico's like 5th in the league in rushing yards, and he played essentially 3 games. Appreciate it, Mike, as always, and we'll check back in next week.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Once again, Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback, and my co-host of the Pack Therapy podcast. I know we didn't talk any NC State football during that conversation because we got in the weeds with NFL quarterback stuff. But there's over, 45 minutes of just NC State deep dive in our latest episode of Pack Therapy, the podcast. So we encourage you to go check it out. Everywhere podcasts can be found, including 99.9 The Fan on YouTube and the new 99.9 The Fan app. So go download that and check it out there. In the meantime, we have the starting 5 coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
For a team proud to pound the rock, there's a weird reluctance within the Carolina Panthers coaching staff to do so with the guy who we know can tote the mail in Rico Dowdle. You know, loyalty sometimes blinds you to the obvious. Just ride the hot hand. Dowdle's been your guy for a few weeks. Time to take those dark sunglasses off and see what he can really do.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. It's a beautiful day out there today. Lots of sunshine, a little breezy, with temperatures in the mid-70s. Get the jackets ready tonight. We'll have clear skies with a low of 42, and then mostly sunny skies on Thursday with a high of 72.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 334 points today to 46,590.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting 5, and as always, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Russell Wilson, Mr. Media trained, everything is polished, gone through the brand awareness. Did he clap back against Sean Payton? I think he did. For those of you that haven't been paying attention to I think the kids call it the T going on in the NFL. Sean Payton, head coach of the Broncos, former head coach of Russell Wilson, was talking about their upcoming game against the Giants, team that he actually was a coordinator for back in the day. So he's got a little history, knows the team, knows the ownership. And he said they, meaning the Giants, found a little spark with that quarterback, meaning Jackson Dart. I was talking to John Mara, that's the owner of the Giants, not too long ago, and I said, we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game. End of quote. Now, many of you know that Russell Wilson was the starter before Jackson Dart. So that's basically Sean Payton saying, I would have rather played against Russell Wilson than Jackson Dart because the Giants got going once Jackson Dart took over. Russell Wilson apparently took a little bit of disrespect. He said, keep my name out your mouth. No, what he actually...
Mr. Unlimited.
Keep my fake nickname out of your mouth. Mr. Unlimited. Danger Russ. That's not what he actually said. What he actually said was he took to Twitter, and I'll read it for you. Classless, ... but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. Sunglasses emoji, laughing emoji, hashtag let's ride. I have to be completely honest. I don't get a vibe of authenticity when Russell Wilson is communicating with the media often.
Not at all.
That's as authentic as I've seen him be. And even that's kind of like a little too punny. Like, if you're going to make a Bountygate joke, just say, remember Sean Payton? Bountygate? Like, you're still bounty hunting 15 years later through the media. Sean Payton has to be aware. You throw stones. You live in a glass house. It can be return fire. And Russell did it. It's. I'm not going to say likable, but it's maybe the most likable Russell's been in a while.
Mr. Unlimited.
That video will live on in infamy. This tweet, I think, will actually age pretty well.
I was like, you know what? Well done, Russ.
I mean,
well done.
There is a point where, like, the jokes about Russell do become a little too much. Because I'm here for it a little bit, right? He brings a lot of it onto himself. But the guy's a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a borderline Hall of Famer. You can't just be getting random ricochet shots from Sean Payton midweek because Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo are out there bashing their heads against the wall and people like it. Like, Russ has a little bit of a something to stand on if he wants to defend himself. He has as many Super Bowls as Sean Payton. And he played for it rather than, go Drew, which is kind of what Sean Payton did. All right, that's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
The Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets open up their season tonight.
Let's go,
versus
baby.
The Nets.
Let's go.
Which means it'll be the NBA debut for Con Knippel. Played his college basketball right here at Duke, 4th overall pick. The Hornets are in a weird spot. They're in. The reason why I say the Hornets are in a weird spot is I think it's just kind of patience and small decisions made over and over again that they like. I think the beginning of a rebuild is kind of exciting, right? You sell off all your veterans, you get a bunch of picks, you're making moves, you're being active, but once you start like building your core and you have some players you like, you have a LaMelo Ball, you have a Brandon Miller, you bring in a Con Knippel, you have, like, once you have your little core that you like, it's kind of, you just got to wait for them to season and you got to put some good pieces around them and make it work. It's you're less active, right? Now you're just kind of, well, let's put it in the oven, low heat, let it cook. It's more of a crock pot than it is a microwave. And that's kind of where the Hornets are for me. That's not to say they won't flash something exciting at times, But I would be surprised if they do anything too crazy this year.
Sion James also made the opening night roster as well for Duke. And don't forget, they also have one of the Plumleys, Mason Plumlee, 3 Duke guys. The pipeline from Duke to Charlotte is strong.
All right. That's pretty good. They also, they have so many young guys. Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton, Liam McNeely from UConn, who was also Cooper Flagg's teammate at Montverde in high school. There's a whole bunch of different beasts. I do have the regular season win total here.
Oh, okay.
For the Charlotte Hornets. I just have to wait for my...
The Charlotte Hornets!
Over under 27.5. Over is -115. Under -105. So,
give me the over.
Yeah, I think I'm taking the over too.
Give me the over. 36 wins this season.
I think they get 30. It's nice when 30 is the over. I think they get 30. Yeah, that's fair.
It felt like a few years ago they were going in the right direction. But they fired James Borrega. Like they finished above 500, and they fired James Borrega, and they obviously have not regrouped since.
They've dealt with some injuries. They dealt with some off the court stuff for some of their better players that took some guys away.
They've got like their third coach since Borrega. Heck, one of them said, "Yeah, I'll take the job," and actually said, "You know what? I'm going to go back to being an assistant with Golden State." Was that Kenny Atkinson?
Assistant with Golden State's a pretty good assistant job.
It is, but he took the job and said, "Actually."
Well, they upped his bennies. They gave him a little extra benefit. Some, they came through with dental and vision. I don't know what the
dental and vision.
I don't know what the offer changed. Right? They gave him a couple extra PTO days. Either way, Hornets start tonight. NBA season started last night. Side note: we were talking about nostalgia earlier.
Yeah.
NBC, they did a good job with the NBA. I was thinking about this, and we're about to talk some college sports, so I think it's a good transition. I don't want any add-ins when it comes to sports. Like if with the ACC sells their media rights and they give you, I don't want basketball tagged onto football. Is basically what I'm saying. Or I want somebody that cares about the product. You can tell NBC cares about the NBA, and they I'm not saying ESPN doesn't, but they put a lot of work into making it feel drama filled and the production elements and cool little touches. If you are broadcasting a sport, show some effort is what I'm getting at. That's all it takes. Sports fans are that way. We just want to see a little hustle, right? We want to see a little strain and finish. As long as you're working toward, run through the line, not to the line. That's what I'm looking for. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
So the Blue Devils on a little bit of a push. They lead by 3. Boozer's driving the ship, and he rattles home a 3. Cameron Boozer coming to life, and Johnny Dawkins wants time.
I just had a weird realization. Cameron Boozer, who that highlight was for Duke, true freshman, one of the top recruits in the country, expected to be all everything this year. He played really well last night. His brother, Caden Boozer, was also out there. I had never put together, is Caden Boozer named after Coach K?
Good question.
Because Cameron Boozer for Carlos Boozer, who played at Duke. That one that's pretty direct line, Cameron Indoor. And I always thought that's kind of, to be Caden Boozer, the twin that didn't get the meaningful name. Would that be oh, cool, you named him after your super meaningful college experience at Cameron and you just like Caden? But I didn't even think that it could be Coach K for Caden. Maybe I'm not, I doubt I'm the first to have that thought. Maybe it's super well known, but I hadn't thought of it. Either way, the Boozers, the twins, they had their exhibition intro to Cameron Indoor last night when they the Duke Blue Devils hosted Johnny Dawkins coached UCF. It was a big game for Cameron Boozer. 33 points, 12 rebounds, efficient, threes, down low, handling the ball. Here's John Shire, the head coach, on his thoughts on the first showing of Cameron Boozer.
It was a pretty good game. I thought he was pretty good. He's a warrior, man. I think that's the best thing I can say about him. He's a warrior, competitor, and obviously he impacted the game in a lot of different ways, including getting fouled, getting us to the bonus early. But I just thought he had such a professional approach. I was happy that he had to play through some extended minutes, with the lack of depth with Malik being out. And he's just a big-time winner. So, again, for me, it's not about comparing to anything other than I thought he was a high-level player, as good as he gets tonight. And I know there's even more there that we can help him with, and that he's the great part about him, I know he's thinking about all the things he could have done better. That's what makes him who he is.
He had a really good game. Or actually, I don't even want to say game. He had a really good exhibition. It just further proved what was kind of always said about Cameron Boozer. There's what I always pronounce this guy's name wrong. AJ Dibansa, who's out of BYU, another one of the top recruits in the country. There's the recruit at I believe Tennessee, who at one point looked like he may be committing to Duke. Shelton of some kind. Cameron Boozer was almost always talked about as maybe not the best athlete of the top 3 or 4 recruits in the country, maybe not the most explosive, but goodness, the skill and the polish and the IQ, and meaning basketball IQ, and the instincts, and that's how he ends up a 4-time state champion and a 4-time peach something champion, and all he was showing up ready to make an impact from day one. Not somebody with just a ball of measurables that you're hoping to turn into a basketball player. And I'm not saying that's what the other guys are, but I'm saying certain top prospects are kind of that way. Cameron Boozer is ready to play like today. If you wanted to start the ACC tournament tomorrow, Cameron Boozer would be like, cool, ball up top. Other freshmen might be like, well, actually, I kind of need the regular season to get used to some things. I need to figure some stuff out. Cameron Boozer is like, all right, give me the ball. I'll handle it. It's high praise. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Movement on that offensive line this week because of the injuries. If there's some growing pains going on, Lopez is going to take a shot to the end zone, lofts one to the corner, and the ball is caught. Is he in the end zone? Yes, touchdown, Jeremiah Webb.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Here's the latest news around UNC football. 3 more players have left the program. Offensive lineman William Boone, who started 3 games at the beginning of the year, got hurt against Richmond. Pass rusher Bryce Yates, a transfer from UConn. And tight end Yasir Smith, who is a freshman who had not appeared in a game. Bryce Yates also only appeared in 1 game due to injuries that he suffered. Inside Carolina first reported the departures. They've since been confirmed to our colleagues at WRAL. I haven't seen anything from the players that say, or from the agents of the players or anything like that say these departures are connected to dysfunction or how the program was being run or anything like that. It is extremely tempting to connect it because of the timeline of events, right? 2 weeks ago, we started hearing about, WRAL's Pat Welter article came out with the anonymous sources saying certain players were given preferential treatment and they were given different ticket options for their family and parking spots, and coaches weren't the similar accessibility. They didn't have similar accessibility to all players. Certain had more than others. There's all these dysfunction reports, and then to hear a couple weeks later that players are leaving the program, it's tempting to go, hey, because of that, this happened. I'm going to give you an analogy that I think plays into this, right? When I was in college, as most 18, 19, 20-year-old dudes that hang out in dorms and off-campus apartments are, we were, at times, not the smartest individuals. One of my buddies, there was a miscommunication, right? He was microwaving something, right? Just, getting a meal. And the way he worded a sentence, and I forget exactly what it was, it sounded like he was going to put a metal fork in the microwave. And one of my other friends who was in sitting on a couch in just the other room, but it was connected, stood up and ran into the kitchen to block him from putting the metal fork in the microwave. And once we realized it was a miscommunication, right? Like, oh, he wasn't actually going to do that. I can get why you think it would sound that way. The guy that ran in from the other room felt kind of embarrassed, like, oh, my bad. But instead of like just saying, oh, I misinterpreted you, he looked at the guy who he thought said was going to put the fork in the microwave, and he said, you need to live your life in a way where I wouldn't think you would do it, and walked away. Basically saying, if I thought you were smart, I wouldn't have assumed that you were going to put the fork in the microwave, but I've seen you do enough crazy stuff, enough foolish stuff, that I thought I had to come out here and physically block you from putting a fork in the microwave. So I kind of look at UNC and say this. If you're upset that people are assuming that players are leaving the program because of all of the dysfunction around your program, you need to run your program in a way that wouldn't lead us to believe that people are leaving because of the culture and dysfunction. If sources in the locker room, if sources close to the program, if anonymous parents of players are saying their kids don't want to go into the facility because of the toxic culture, then I don't think it's crazy for certain people, and I'm not making the jump, but if people do make the jump to guys leaving the program being connected to that. I've explained throughout the show a few different times that I think players leaving the program is more a sign of losing. You're 2-4, you're 0-2 in the conference. I think players leave to protect eligibility, protect another year where they can gain NIL money after they hit the transfer portal. I think that's probably the more likely option. But if you don't want people thinking players are leaving due to the dysfunction, you got to run your program in a way where we don't think players are leaving because of the dysfunction. If you don't want somebody to jump up and run into the kitchen to block you from putting a fork in a microwave, you need to live your life in a way where they know you're smart enough to not put a fork in the microwave. By the way, these were some of my best friends, so I'm not insulting them. We've all had our moments. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one! First down and goal from the 3. Young under center. The snap to fake to Hubbard. Rolling right. Now Young rolls back to his left. Eyes up. Young throws. End zone. Diving catch. Leggett. Touchdown, Carolina!
So here's the deal, everybody. Bryce Young, the story, it's the one that keeps on giving. Bryce Young hurt his ankle this past week, did not finish the game. Andy Dalton finished out the win over the Jets. And it was pretty well believed that Bryce Young had a high ankle injury due to what insiders were telling us. Tom Pelissero had it first. And it looked like it was going to be a 2 to 4 week injury, but that was never given to us by anyone in the facility, right? Dave Canales said on Monday that they would take it day by day and see how it goes. Bryce Young was seen at practice today doing some stuff off to the side, some resistance band work, some light jogging, some light throwing. And then after practice, Dave Canales updated it on how he sees Bryce Young's availability. This is what he had to say.
Did more than he did yesterday, so that's good. That's our plan right now, is each day try to push him a little bit more, see if we can get him out there in a different capacity. Wasn't able to practice today, but was working on the side, was able to do some movement stuff, and we'll just take it day to day and make the best decision.
So he's officially day to day still?
Yes.
And not prepared to declare Andy Dalton the starter on Sunday?
Not right now, yes. But Andy did take all the reps today with the group. Hendon Hooker and Mike White are here. We're first day to get to look at Mike in person to see him throw. He did a great job. Hendon handled most of the scout reps there, but the whole group, they're all, just pulling for Bryce, and Bryce as well. He's pushing and he's trying and he's determined to try to, make himself available for Sunday, but we have to take it day to day and we got to make a decision, when it comes down to it.
Interesting. Now let's assume, all right, let's play a little assumption game, and I know what they say about assuming, but just bear with me. If Bryce plays, but he isn't himself as far as running the football, I think that takes away the aspect of his game that is most significantly an advantage over Andy Dalton. Right? If Bryce plays, but he's like, with my ankle, I got to be, handcuffed to the pocket, right? And then the RPO's got to go, the quarterback run got to go, the rollouts got to go. I think that might put it over the top to be like, you know what? Let's just play Andy because he can be locked in a jail in the pocket, right? He can do that. We take out all the RPOs. That's just the offense we're going to run with Andy. If he's healthy and can run and makes a miraculous recovery and maybe the injury wasn't as bad as we thought, it's a different beast. But I think you lean towards getting him all the way healthy so you can have all of his physical tools available when he does come back, if he does come back. Dennis, I'll ask you this quickly here. Since I guess they're both an option, right? He didn't declare Andy a starter, although I think we all expect him to be a starter. Yeah. What's the biggest difference in the offense from Andy from Bryce Young and what we've seen to Andy Dalton?
I don't think you're going to see the designed bootlegs where, especially when Bryce Young is actually rolling to his left, he's actually pretty adept at throwing in that way, which not a lot of quarterbacks are.
Touchdown pass this past weekend, an example of.
Yes, and I don't think you're going to see that, but it doesn't mean you still can't go play action or, smaller bootlegs, again, not completely rolling outside the hash marks if you're a quarterback. That's something that I would probably expect to see the biggest difference in that regard, or maybe some of the RPO stuff. I actually think you would see Andy Dalton under center more often than Bryce Young.
Under center?
I think you actually would go under center more often than Bryce. I think Andy Dalton, because of the style of the way the NFL was played when he was coming into the league, there was more under center, more turn your back to the defense, on play action. I think that's something you might see a little bit more with Dalton.
All right, real quickly, since you bring up when he entered the league, I'm going to have some fun here.
Okay.
Andy Dalton, who we expect to be the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this weekend, came into the league in 2011. Started all 16 games, went 9-7. He was a second-round pick with the Cincinnati Bengals. On that roster, let's look at some of the players that he shared the field with. His backup, Bruce Gradkowski. That's a good guy's name and dudes. His running back, I believe, yep, here it is. Cedric Benson ran for 1,000 yards on that roster. Jermaine Gresham, one of his leading wide receivers at the tight end spot. A.J. Green, obviously. Andre Caldwell. Andrew Hawkins, who's a media personality now. Brian Leonard was one of the running backs, had 17 attempts. There's Jordan Shipley was on the roster. Him and Colt McCoy at Texas, one of the guys I remember. Brandon Tate. These are the players, right? If it's like, oh yeah, that guy. Exactly. That's how long he's been in the league. Geno Atkins was their leading sack artist. Carlos Dunlap was on the roster. Frosty Rucker. Remember Frosty Rucker? The reason why I bring this up is not just to be guys naming dudes, although that's fun. Manny Lawson, there you go. How about that for a little local tie? The reason why I bring it up is this. I wonder if Dave Canales doesn't give Andy maybe a little bit more leeway, right? Maybe a little bit more change at the line of scrimmage, maybe a little bit more, this is a little bit of a risky call, but I trust you to handle it correctly as far as mitigating the damages if it's just completely not there. Maybe, right? This is a guy that's been playing since 2011, right? And he's been starting in games. Like he played 9-7 was his record as a starter that year. There could be some more like I trust the veteran to handle different situations better, even if we've been playing Bryce due to his physical ability or whatever they've been playing Bryce for.
He's not like most backups in the league. He's not like Quinn Ewers, who's a rookie down there in Miami. All right, let's throw this guy in there. No, like you said, the guy's he's been to Pro Bowls. He's been to the playoffs. He's going to look at Tedarrell McMillan and go, dude, that's A.J. Green. Throw it up.
He started 168 games in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's regular season. 168 in the NFL. It's a lot of games. A lot of games. And he started 6 of them for Carolina. 168 starts. 6 of them with the Panthers, which is funny. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Listen, everybody. Right now, there's kind of this uptick in the random online lenders as opposed to local trusted lenders right here in your backyard. And I don't see why. Miller Lending is owned in Cary, right? You can go see them face to face. You can talk with them. When you call them, it's a 919 area code. I'll give you the number in a second here. But I bring it up because they're going to care about you more than just a number on a page. They're going to care about you more than just a form you filled out online. And because of that, they'll reach out and say things like, does your rate start with a 7? Oh, yeah, we locked you in at this rate back in January. Well, guess what? They've dropped a full point since January, and we would love for you to refinance with no closing costs and no fees and get that monthly payment down with no money out of your pocket. That's not just a number on a website. That is somebody who knows you, knows the area, knows where the house is that you have the mortgage on, and wants you to have the lowest monthly payment possible. That's what Miller Lending and Gordon Miller offer you. I mentioned that 919 area code. Here it is, 919-447-3377 to talk to Miller Lending. That's 919-447-3377. You'll talk to somebody in the Triangle for a business that's been here in the Triangle since 1996. You can also visit them online if that's the way you do things, still locally owned, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break, but we need to get some numbers game contestants first. $30 gift card to Alpaca Chicken on the line for today's numbers game, so call in now if you want to play. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and potentially win yourself a $30 gift card to Alpaca Chicken, legendary flavor, hometown pride. One more time, the phone number, 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game next.
Do you have a smartphone? Of course you do. Do you have a pocket or pouch or human hand to hold your smartphone? Then you have no excuse. Download the 99.9 The Fan brand new app today and take us with you wherever you go. Your favorite hosts, podcasts, and live sports action all in one place. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Finally, there's an app for 99.9 The Fan. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been with the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center for 2.5 months, and I've lost 40 pounds. But here's the thing. I've been able to maintain that goal weight through this whole process. I've reached that 40-pound mark, and I've been able to keep it off because that's all part of the plan at Raleigh Weight Loss Center is that they not only want you to reach that target weight, but they want you to maintain it as well. It's called the maintenance phase, and I'm in that maintenance phase right now, and it feels good knowing the hard work that I've done to get down to where I am right now. It's sticking. It's working. It's keeping me at a weight that I want to be at, and that's the reason why Raleigh Weight Loss Center really has worked so far for me. That's why you got to give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call with them. A free 15-minute phone call. That way they can answer any of the questions that you have. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or 919-897-7506, 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants for today, Dave in Fuquay Arena, Hunter in Raleigh. They will be competing for an Alpaca Chicken gift card. As always, we'll bring them both onto the show. We'll individually ask them the same question. Dennis will be the judge. He'll pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first, and we'll go from there. We'll start with Dave in Fuquay Arena. Dave, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, perfect. The State Fair is going on at the moment as we speak this week. So we're looking for fair food. What is the best State Fair food, the best fair food? What do you always make sure you get when you go?
Deep fried Oreos.
Deep fried Oreos. Locked in for Dave and Fuquay Arena. I can't imagine there are any follow-ups, but Dennis, are there?
Do you like the powdered sugar on top of it?
Yes.
Okay.
With powdered sugar, noted. That'll bring us to Hunter and Raleigh. Hunter, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, same question to you. The State Fair going on. What is the best fair food, State Fair food? What do you always make sure you get?
It's got to be a funnel cake for me, man, with powdered sugar on it.
Funnel cake with powdered sugar, noted. So, Dennis, as you make your selection, I guess the powdered sugars cancel each other out, right? So you have deep fried Oreos with powdered sugar. You have funnel cake with powdered sugar, and it really comes down to the main beast, right? Is it deep fried Oreo or funnel cake?
Both fantastic options. Absolutely fantastic options. Here's the thing about funnel cake. There are a lot of different places I can get funnel cake. You know, that might be at at a game or a sporting event, something along those lines. But deep fried Oreos, I feel like the State Fair is the only true place you got to get something deep fried at the State Fair. So I'm going to go with Dave and Fuquay Arena on this. Got to go with the deep fried Oreos.
Is that a business idea?
What?
Deep fried Oreos somewhere other than the State Fair? Stadiums?
I don't hate it.
Just floating ideas out there. Maybe a market inefficiency. Dave and Fuquay Arena gets to go first. Hunter and Raleigh, don't worry, you will have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a second. Dave, you ready to pick a category?
Yep.
All right. The categories are NFL players that were at one point or another Carson Wentz's teammates, NFL players that were at one point or another Jalen Ramsey's teammates, NBA players, all Euros, all players from Europe, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Let's do the first NFL.
All right. NFL players that were all at one point or another Carson Wentz's teammates. He has been on 6 different teams, so there's a lot of options here. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jordan Addison, Minnesota Vikings.
18.
Incorrect. Michael Pittman Jr., Indianapolis Colts.
84.
Incorrect. Jordan Addison, Minnesota Vikings.
17.
Incorrect. Michael Pittman Jr., Indianapolis Colts.
81.
Incorrect. Jordan Addison, Minnesota Vikings.
3.
Correct. Nelson Aguilar, Philadelphia Eagles.
82.
Incorrect. Michael Pittman Jr., Indianapolis Colts.
80.
Incorrect. You did end up getting Jordan Addison. You were, I think you were in your mind's eye seeing maybe a Justin Jefferson jersey because you went with 18 first. But Addison, number 3, you got it right. Pittman Jr., we were looking for 11. And Nelson Aguilar with the Eagles wore 13 and 17. Would have accepted either. 1 is the number to beat. You are the leader in the clubhouse. Go ahead and stand the line. We'll see if it holds up.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to Hunter and Raleigh. Hunter, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Remaining categories for you to choose from are NFL players that were Jalen Ramsey's teammates at one point or another, NBA players that are from Europe, or NHL players. NHL players, obviously Hurricanes only.
I'll do the NBA Europe players.
NBA Europeans. All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You need at least 2 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets.
5.
Incorrect. Alperen Şengün, Houston Rockets.
Pass.
Tony Parker, San Antonio Spurs.
9.
Correct. Lauri Markkanen, Utah Jazz.
42.
Incorrect. Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets.
1.
Incorrect. Alperen Şengün, Houston Rockets.
12.
Incorrect. Lauri Markkanen, Utah Jazz.
13.
Incorrect. Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets.
3.
Incorrect. Your first 2 guesses for Nikola Jokic were 5 and 1. We needed 15. You needed to put them together for Nikola Jokic. Alperen Şengün, for those of you playing at home, 28, and Lauri Markkanen, 23. You did get Tony Parker, number 9. It's a great number. Unfortunately for you, ties go to whoever goes first. So you are not the winner, but hopefully you had some fun.
Thank you.
All right. Maybe a funnel cake will get your spirits back up. Either way, the winner, Dave in Fuquay-Varina. Dave, congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
You were quite literally, you won because of deep fried Oreos. So congratulations on that one. And stay on the line so Dennis can grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. By the way, that prize, a $30 gift card to Alpaca Chicken, legendary flavor, hometown pride, Alpaca Chicken. Tony Parker, number 9. I'll never forget. You know what else is number 9? Rajon Rondo. We used to, I don't know why, it was the dumbest locker room argument of all time. In college, we used to get into like a debate on who would win. My jersey number was 9 in college. An NBA team made up of all players with my jersey number, or an NBA team made up of all players of your jersey number, and we would go at it. And number 9 was a low-key, very, very good number. Tony Parker, Rajon Rondo. I used to have to play 2-point guards, but they had some bigs. I think like Luol Deng maybe was 9. But we used to get into it. The numbers that were good, in case you're wondering, 3 was always good, 23 was always good, 11 was surprisingly very good. There were a couple that could hang, and then there were some, right? Like offensive linemen were coming in 56, 72. Didn't work as much. Although now 77 would have Luka, so they might be able to get it done. But we had that argument multiple times a year. No idea why. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Canes, or should I say the Whalers, play the Avs, or should I say the Nordiques, tomorrow night. A lot of emotions going into that one. We look ahead. Coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
See, I don't think it's too hard to ask Bill Belichick to explain why he thinks they're better. You could say, Clemson's got pros. We don't have pros. I see us getting better in practice. I know you're not there. But he is not willing to do that, and until he lowers himself to that, we're always going to be skeptical.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
This party's getting crazy. Are those mini horses? And there's a build-your-own fireworks bar? Ah! Heads up! Whoa, and they've got the new ultimate blowout scratch-offs. Okay, now it's a party.
With $250, $500, and $5,000 prizes, the ultimate blowout scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are exploding with wins. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.26. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time. Fumble in the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. So the Carolina Hurricanes are still on their State Fair road trip, right? You just heard us talk about the State Fair in town, talking State Fair foods and everything. Which, by the way, Dennis, you didn't give your answer. What was your, one seed? Like, for the answer, what was the best State Fair food, you had to choose between the deep-fried Oreos and the funnel cake?
Yeah.
You didn't give, what was the correct answer?
The correct answer is deep-fried Oreos.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I actually had it last night.
Delicious?
Absolutely.
All right.
A lot of people are going to say the turkey leg. Some people are going to go with the roasted corn. I totally get those as well. Absolutely. Got to go deep-fried Oreos.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we give you a chance to answer it yourself. But with the State Fair going on, obviously the Canes hit the road for 2 weeks. They are 4 games into a 6-game road trip. They are 3-1 on the roadie, with the loss coming most recently to Vegas, which means that tomorrow against Colorado they will be looking to bounce back from the loss, get back in the win column, do all those things. There are hockey conversations on how to do that, right? We talked earlier about Andrei Svechnikov. We have talked this week about Nikolai Ehlers and some of the young guys and the injuries they're dealing with. Part of that will simply just be the Avalanche, right? You can't talk about having to win a game without talking about who you have to beat. And all of that is good, great, grand, marvelous. Luckily, we have 3 hours during tomorrow's show where we can talk about much of the hockey. There's also, I try to remember this, athletes are humans too, right? They have feelings. They have emotions. At times, they do feel like video game characters, or fantasy footballs or fantasy sports are just, numbers on a screen, and they're not real. They are people. And there's a lot of reasons why emotions can come into this game. Distractions might come into this game. And I think the better run organizations, the better run teams, they find a way to get all of the distractions and the other things away from the field of competition taken care of, hopefully a day before, right? You hear this in the NFL, like Super Bowl week. Coaches do everything they can. Listen, make sure your family has tickets and a place to stay in the Super Bowl city the first week, right? Because you get 2 weeks between the conference championship and the Super Bowl. Make sure everybody that you want to thank and everybody, anything you got to do, get it done that first week. Obviously, you don't have 2 weeks between hockey games, but going into what could be a weirdly emotional game, and I'm not just talking about one emotion. I think there could be multiple emotions. In the middle of the regular season, in the middle of a tired, exhausting, long road trip, try to get most of that done today, right? They're going to celebrate Brent Burns' 1,500 NHL games tomorrow. And that's not his 1,500th game. Right? It's not. But they're going to celebrate it tomorrow so the Canes can be in attendance, because obviously so many of the guys that he spent the last handful of years with were on the Canes because he was on the Canes.
And you want to do it at home too.
True. But that's something like seeing one of your buddies achieve a really cool goal. There's nostalgia there. There's happiness there. There's excitement. There's maybe a little jealousy. There's maybe a little bitterness. Why isn't he here? That's my boy. There's also just the emotions of seeing a friend that you haven't seen in a while. I mean, Rod Brindamore, right? With all of the anecdotes we've heard of Rod Brindamore and Brent Burns, both just kind of kicking around all the youth hockey rinks in the area because their kids were playing. Those memories are of the human level as much as they are, all the times that Rod Brindamore loved sending Brent Burns out there on a power play. There's also, I loved his family growing up with my family. That kind of stuff's going on. What about this? There was a trade, I don't know if everybody heard, between Colorado and the Canes last year. Mikko Rantanen, heard of him? Is there any like I don't even want the Mikko part of it is what the Mikko part of it is. Okay, that's irrelevant. I'm not holding that against Colorado. I think both Carolina and Colorado in weird ways has reasons to be upset about all of that. But Martin Necas and Jack Drury went to Colorado in that trade. Martin Necas is lighting it up. Don't get me wrong, and we've seen him do that. He did that at the beginning of the year last year for the Canes. And you put him on a line with some of the guys that Colorado has, you're going to expect it. Is there any bitterness there? Talk about all of the different emotions. Could you be a little angry? Right? He requested a trade, or his dad did, or whatever you want. He didn't want to be here. Is there any of that? Jack Drury, is there kind of similar to Brent Burns? Some of that, that's my boy, right? Seth Jarvard. A lot of that's because Jack Drury's from Harvard. All right, the young guys that grew up together. Is there any happy, wistful emotions there? These two teams are fascinating to me. Based on all of the professional sports leagues, and the NHL is no different. They're big business, but a small world. Right? There's a lot of oh yeah, I know that guy. Oh yeah, that guy did this to my friend. Or oh yeah, I was a big fan of him, and he did this to him, and he hit this guy late 4 years ago, so now I don't like him. It's a big business. Thousands of people, millions of people watch. Lots of money now, and it's going up every year. There's a lot of weird relationships going on there. How does that work? And these two teams just seem intertwined a ton, even though it's a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference, even though it's, high-flying goal scoring and two-way hockey. And, they've both been in the playoffs every year since 2019. I think Colorado might even go a year further back. There's a lot of intertwining relationships here.
Let's also not forget Sean Walker played for a short bit with the Colorado Avalanche as well.
Great point.
So there's familiarity with him and guys that used to be or guys that are still currently, I should say, over on the Colorado Avalanche. I think this is also the timing because the Canes are already in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
They're already out there. So this is a time, you see this happen oftentimes in sports where hey, let's go have dinner because I have a buddy on another team. I would not be shocked if that's already taken place.
If everybody's been at Brent Burns' house for dinner like they would have done a bunch of times here in Carolina.
Or they all met up for dinner or something along those lines.
I agree.
That's already happened.
Which I think is good.
Is happening tonight.
Check it off. Go to sleep, wake up, you can lock in. I think it's important to let that happen and then compartmentalize and get ready to play hockey.
Or hey, I'll see you after the game as well. I've walked at Lenovo Center, the back area where the visiting team walks out to their bus and stuff. I've walked through and I've seen guys for the Canes and guys on other teams, whether they grew up with each other or played with each other at another stop previously, whatever it might be.
Four Nations teammates, anything like that.
Just chatting up with each other, just kind of catching up and stuff a little bit. So that stuff happens. And sometimes some guys be like, hey, look, I'll see you after the game.
Or hey, I'll send you this jersey in the off season. We'll play golf.
Exactly.
It doesn't even have to be. Let's do it right now. I do think it's kind of a karmic coincidence that makes sense that they're going to be wearing the Nordiques jerseys and the Canes are going to be wearing the Whalers, not whaling the wearers. They're going to be whaling.
Could be that too.
Whaling the wearers jerseys. Meaning wearing the Whalers. I think it kind of makes sense, right? Because you're going to have random people in Hartford kind of torn, right? There's going to be random people in Canada that are going to be man, why do you keep reminding me that they left? But also those jerseys are kind of cool and I'm going to go online and buy one. There's those torn emotions with seeing these two teams that aren't in the locations wearing the jerseys of those and trying to honor the history of, even though they left the history. There's some complications there. Similar to, what if you're really good friends with Brent Burns? Family friends. You trust him with your life. Then you got to go play him, and he scores, and you got to be darn it, but also happy for him. But also, no, that's not enough, right? I think it's an appropriate game to break out some. Is it a complicated history? I don't know. I know that there are certain people in relocations of franchises always come with a bunch of different emotions, similar to how I think this game comes with a bunch of different emotions. So it's appropriately honored by the jerseys they're wearing. I think the jerseys are cool. I'll throw that out there. Both of them. I think Brent Burns is cool. I think I'm happy that he landed on his feet elsewhere, even if I don't think that the Canes should have kept him, right? Like, I think you can have a little bit of positive. Both of these franchises have gotten cups since they relocated to where they are now. I think you can be happy for that. Like, our franchise won, some of the guys, some of the people involved. Like, I think you can be happy for that, and also a little bitter about, like, the way they left. I think it's all there. Right? If Martin Necas doesn't leave, you don't have Stankoven. You don't have picks that can be used in a trade.
Like they got with Keandre Miller. Right? So you can be a little bitter with how the Martin Necas thing happened, and also pleased with how it turned out. You're allowed to feel more than one thing. My wife's a therapist, can you tell? Like, let yourself feel those emotions, right? You know, hockey is a tough sport. I get it. Brad Marchand was crying like a baby last night. Let yourselves feel those emotions. Do you think Sean Walker gets a tribute video? Nah, he's already been back there.
Yeah, I know.
He's already been back there.
I just wanted a way to say that. Stop with the tribute videos.
Yeah, you hate the tribute videos.
Marchand.
You've been yelling at the screen watching Brad Marchand and the Boston Bruins.
Marchand was letting himself feel the emotions. That's as emotional as I've seen a guy with a tribute video. But they also played the tricks on him in the tribute video, showing him, interacting with kids in the stands and everything.
Oh, that was his daughter.
Yeah, like that's just pulling the heartstrings there, right? Most tribute videos are just like big goals scored, big hits. They're like, let's show how much his family means to him. It's like, all right, now you trying to make him cry?
It worked.
Like they just like halfway through just start showing like, military members being reunited with their families, surprise, and it's just like, well, of course I'm gonna cry for that. Like that, they show the ending of like Old Yeller. It's like, what are we doing here? You're just trying to make them blubber.
Yeah, they're kids in attendance, man.
It's listen, I'm glad that they all were very big fans of Brad Marchand. He won a cup for someone else last year.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till he retires to tell him how much you love him. He was actively trying to take a win away from your team last night. That's the only issue I have with tribute videos. If he scored a goal, talk about complicated emotions. That's what I'm getting at here. The Canes probably are going to have some complicated emotions tomorrow, so try to work them out ahead of time. When they play the Brent Burns 1,500 game tribute video, I don't want all of the Canes looking around like Brad Marchand. Tears in their eyes, can't see the puck. That's not what I want. So deal with it today. Go out to dinner with them, give them a hug, and then say, now I don't have to give you a hug tomorrow when I'm trying to rob you of goals scored. Which, by the way, Brent Burns is one of the top, I think, 4 players in the NHL in shots on goal without a goal. Try to keep that off, right? Try to keep him out of the goal scoring column. Nikolai Ehlers is number 2, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so.
He's shooting the puck.
Shooting the puck a ton. Andrei Svechnikov, not on the list I watched. Shoot the puck more. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. See, we almost got into hockey talk. I was just talking emotions here. The hockey will be for tomorrow. It's a big game.
I might cry when Ehlers scores.
might not be the only one. Happy tears. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. We are starting off Overdrive with a Mike Glennon interview. Enjoy that. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Man, it started off rough for Dan Campbell. He was able to right the ship. One day, started out 0-10-1. Everybody was going back to the introductory press conference, talking about how awkward it was, being a kneecap biter and all of that stuff. Now everybody loves that stuff. Just give it time to fully bake when it comes to Aaron Glenn. He can't go winless, but I think Aaron Glenn finds a way to keep his job going into 2026.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Atlantic Spas and Billiards wants to invite you to our newly remodeled showroom on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. More Tilos saunas for both inside and outside on display. Special